Hi, hello, welcome back to my witch obsession. And if you're seeing this, this will be my insight, my two cents on what Jupiter in Cancer will bring for all 12 zodiac signs. So as a Sag rising, I just felt like I just had to do this. I want to do it for Saturn too, but this is my planet, you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of just like, you know what, let me just... But anyways, timestamps will be in the description box below. But yeah, if you like a personal reading or if you want to get in contact with me, my links will be down below, Etsy and email, social media and whatnot. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Anyways, I actually want to start out with Pisces risings because Pisces, I feel like you'll have the most fortuitous Jupiter transit, or one of the best. I feel like because it's going through your 5th house of joy, ego, children, Jupiter in the 5th, it sounds like a lot of you could be conceiving a kid, or a lot of you may be thinking about children, or if you already have kids, this could also be, I would imagine it's like maybe sending your kids off to school. Jupiter is higher education, higher belief, so maybe your kids are traveling, maybe your kids are going out and about. But obviously, not every Pisces rising has kids, so this could also be you and your own inner child. Aside from your chart being your traditional ruler, Jupiter also has ties with your 10th house, so maybe a lot of you could be dabbling into a career where you're able to be more creative, or maybe a career where you are working with children. The 5th house also makes me think of ego and your identity and what you believe in. So a lot of you could be developing some strong standpoints on Cancerian themes, being home, being comfortable, having a sanctuary. So I think collectively across the board, people could be doing a lot of stuff with their home and redecorating. But for you specifically, I would imagine that you are either redecorating your home to make it more safe for your children, or you are making space for a kid. A lot of you could be nesting. But for others of you that don't have kids, like I said, this could also be where you're trying to be more creative at home. Like, this is a pretty nice transit where I feel like if you want to like create your own art, make your own paintings and whatnot, I feel like that's like a really good time to do this, especially if you're trying to like decorate your home and maybe you're like, oh my gosh, I'm looking for art, or I'm looking for sculptures to put around the house, but none of them really resonate with me, or none of them like really called me. Let me just make my own. So excuse me, that's what I think of for you all. And overall, I also feel like this could be becoming more close to your mother. I think that all of us will kind of go through this as well. But for you, this could be like, because the 5th house represents risks as well, and like playtime and like going out. So it's like whatever you consider like a leisurely activity or something that's really fun. So a lot of y'all could be doing this with a mother figure, but others of you could just be doing it with family, and maybe extended family, or like authority figures. Like this like low-key sounds like the transit where your boss is like, hey, do you want me to take you out for dinner or something like that? Like that's what it makes me think of, because Sagittarius rules your 10th house, and the 10th house is like authority figures and power. So a lot of you could be reaching like a position of authority and like creative endeavors. Maybe some of you are directing something creative, but for others of you, I also feel like this could be like higher ups being nicer to you, or wanting to spend time with you, or being more fun with you, you know what I'm saying? So that could be it. I also think that a lot of you could maybe like dabble into gambling and like just like taking risks and having fun and whatnot. So like I said, whatever your definition of having fun going out is, whether it's just going to the mall and like going shopping, going out for dinner, or going to the club, dancing, anything like that. I will say, when I'm uploading this, Jupiter will be in a square with Saturn, who is in your 2nd house. So low-key at first, it might be like, man, I really want to go out and do fun things, but I need the money first, Or it could be like, man, I really want to put my art out there, but I don't feel good enough right now. Especially because Saturn has ties with your 11th house. So maybe it's because of social groups, networking, or maybe you just don't have the right connections in order to get people on your side or something like that. Like maybe you want to like do something and it requires more people to join in, and maybe it's like a fundraising thing where you're having to like create funds to have people join in with you, spending time with them, you know what I'm saying? Like nonprofits and stuff. But for others of you, this could also be restrictions with creative and romantic like expression because of friends and the people that you're around. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of Pisces risings, especially with the nodes going through your 7th and 1st house, I almost wonder if this Jupiter transit for you will be like, you know what, like I want to set out and do my own thing. I want to be creative. I want to have fun. I want to do the things that I enjoy, the things that make me happy, and the things that, you know, feel most comfortable for me. And a lot of you could literally just be like dabbling into like inner child things where it's like, oh, I remember when I used to go to the store and like get myself sweet potatoes, just like how my mom used to do for me when I was a little kid. And maybe like the 11th house ruler squares could be like, like I don't know, like I just feel like people don't really understand that. So it's just like, you know, like going out and doing by yourself instead of like holding yourself back, waiting for the right people or waiting for the right circumstances to sort of unfold for you. So I feel like a lot of Pisces risings could just be in this vibe of like developing themselves at a more creative level and doing things based on how they want to do it instead of being so reliant on other people or other people to kind of like give you the green light, or to, you know, especially if you feel like alienated. And Mars did retrograde in this house too, so there's probably been like a lot of chaos with money and children and stuff like that. So I think that this Jupiter transit will build something from that chaos. So yeah, that's what I think of you. I actually want to pull you guys a tarot card. I'm just going to pick a random one. I'll just pick a random one. So I'll pull you guys one tarot card and then I will send you off. But let me know what you are hoping for with this Jupiter transit. Which one sticks out to you? This one stuck out to me. Yeah, for you, we had the 5 of Cups. I actually really like this card for you, Pisces, because I feel like a lot of Pisces risings have gone through pitfall after pitfall for the past few months. And it might kind of just seem like there's a lot of disappointment and a lot of heartache that you've been dealing with. But in the traditional 5 of Cups, there's 2 cups that are upright. So I feel like throughout the shambles of what has been left, essentially you are expanding upon what has been left, you know, what is still good and what is still feasible. And you might be surprised by what is left and how much it actually brings you and how much it actually does for you compared to what you feel you've lost. So not all hope is lost yet. A lot of you could be going into this transit where you're kind of just like feeling very like disgruntled or very like hopeless almost for some of you. But I also just kind of feel like it's because you've let go of these unrealistic desires and dreams that had no backup plan, no structure, and they weren't even going to make you as happy as you thought they were. And instead, you will either be given a different pathway to get to those things, or you'll be given a whole new other vision that will be a lot better than you would have anticipated. So anyways, that's all I have for you, Pisces. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that resonated, and I hope good things come true for you. Anyways, I will see you soon. Okay. Now we are moving on to Sagittarius rising, the other Jupiterian, and hello, fellow Sag risings. I feel like Sag risings will have a fun time with this transit as well, but the effects of it won't necessarily be completely obvious, or it won't be that you see the effects immediately, because for you, Jupiter is going to go through your 8th house. And I feel like a lot of Sag risings, myself included, we've been saying, you know, like it's inheritance. It could be like you're gaining something. And it's definitely financially related. But the thing that I feel like it is, I feel like it's about being more in tune with what makes you happy and being a little bit more open about the things that make your heart sing, because maybe there is a sort of restriction when it comes to expression of what you like, because your 5th house ruler was retrograde in the 8th house for a really long time. So on one hand, a lot of Sag risings could be in some debt right now, or maybe some of you could be dealing with some kind of like a financial matter, especially if you have children. But for others of you, it could also just be like maybe there has been difficulties with intimacy and relationships, relating to people at a deeper level. And because of the Saturn and Jupiter square that we'll see featured in this month, literally right now as I'm filming this, there is probably a lot of difficulty with expressing yourself, even seeing the point in having fun, doing the things that you just enjoy that don't necessarily make you profit or bring you anything good, other than that good feeling of joy and excitement. So a lot of Sag risings could be like, oh, like what's the point of going for a walk, I just don't really understand the point of it. Like, yeah, it's fun and it's cute, but it's like it doesn't do me anything, so it's like it's very important that throughout this transit, Sagittarius, you put in the effort to make your inner world more rich. And if that means delving into your more childlike qualities, that's the way to go. Because I feel like Saturn in the 5th house can like be such a buzzkill, and a lot of Sag risings could be like on that no work, like all work no play kind of vibe. So I think that Jupiter in the 8th house will allow you to be a little bit more deep, a little bit more emotional, and to feel more connected to the things that usually maybe you'd feel ashamed to do or wouldn't want to do. But aside from that, Jupiter in the 8th house can also, like I said, be inheritances. It could be money coming in. But I feel like it's a little bit more abstract because Jupiter is in a square with Saturn, and Saturn rules your 2nd house. So there are definitely themes of finances and self-worth and trusting yourself kind of coming through this transit, Sagittarius. I feel like for a lot of you, it could be that like maybe some of you are creating as a business, Saturn in the 5th house and then Jupiter squares. It could be that maybe some of you are opening a business, and maybe this is you upping your rates. Maybe this is you getting benefits from like loans, taxes, to support something, child support even. Or it maybe like this could be a family member, Jupiter in Cancer. Maybe they're getting money and like you're receiving more money as a result. This doesn't have to be like a negative thing where it's like, like for some of you, this could be like a little bit more like sweet and sour because maybe a family member is ill or not doing so well, and so because of that, like they get a check in the mail and it's like, oh wow, like we get more money, but it's just like now my uncle is not doing so well. So for some of you, it could be like a double-edged sword like that, but for others of you, it could even be another person in your life just making a lot more money, and this inherently benefits you. So it's like, say like maybe like your mom or like maybe like your grandma or something gets like a huge payoff or something, or maybe like a payoff on an investment, especially with like land. I think that this is a very good transit for you, Sagittarius, specifically to invest in property or invest in home if that's something that you have been wanting to do, or even if you're trying to buy stuff for your kids, this might be a transit where you can do that. But I also feel like for a lot of Sag risings, this could be a situation where you just like people are more generous with you, or people will give you more, because Mars in the 8th house for a little bit, you might have just felt like people are not being very generous with you, or you might just kind of feel like people are being very stingy with you or very inconsiderate, so it's like, especially like Jupiter in your 7th house for a really long time, it could be like, for me, it manifested as like, oh, like people are asking you to go out constantly, and like like you ain't got money like that, and then you're kind of like, like, day girl, like I spent all my money going out because my friends wanted me to, but now I ain't got money for rent. So could be something like that where it's like you felt like you were constantly like dealing with other people as opposed to doing what you want to do. But on the flip end of that, because Jupiter did open up a lot of windows and perspectives in your 7th house, I feel like in the 8th house this could also be an opportunity to deepen your connections with other people and getting to know them more. And I kind of just feel like this is also about trusting yourself a little bit more, especially if you have been feeling anxious, or if you've been feeling kind of like down in the dumps for some reason, or if you've just been feeling like very like even like depressed or unwell. And I kind of just feel like whatever is going on with Jupiter in Cancer for Sagittarius, it will be something that starts from the inside out, So it's like, don't expect external changes like in your reality. It'll just be more of like, it either starts inside out or it's like the people around you. Like, I don't know how to describe it, because it's like, I feel like this is one of those things where like you won't just like see immediate results. Like the 8th house is like the dark, like you throw things in there and like it just comes back, and like you're like, oh wow, like I didn't expect that, so it's like there are forces that are not apparent to you that are working for you, Sagittarius. So there are people who want to help you and people who are on your side throughout this transit. And I just want to say that, like, just take care and just to believe. And like, this is a time where you just want to like rest more than you think, okay? Just take as much possible time that you can do in order to take care of yourself. I do also want to mention that Jupiter is like higher beliefs, and the 8th house is about like psychology. So I almost wonder if a lot of Sag risings will dabble into psychology, learning about the occult, or learning more about like tarot, like readings and astrology in general. So like maybe some of you are like opening up a course, or maybe some of you are like offering services that is like something more holistic, something more healing for a collective group of people. Maybe some of you are dedicating yourselves to learning more about psychology or learning more about beliefs in spirituality right now. So it's like books, taking classes, being around people, mentors, or even just like being more intimate with your family. Some of you could be learning about like ancestry, or some of you could be like dabbling into like family stuff, and like maybe this is where like you'll get like money out of. So it's like maybe like I kind of see this as like a pretty random transit, like low-key, where it's maybe like, oh, like grandma's been like she's had her wings for a really long time now, and then like you find out that like she left you a bunch of like gold or like jewels or something like that, you know. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that the things that come to you that have a sour edge to it, they don't have to be like fresh wounds. They could also just be like something that's been left for a while, and then you're like, oh wow. Like I low-key see this as like someone has left you money, or someone had like a reservoir of money for you and you just like didn't really count on that. So it's like maybe like your mom has like a savings account for you or something, or like your family like left you a bunch of money and they like hid it from you, and then you like discover it and you're like, oh my gosh, like money. And it's just like, you know. So a lot of you could be dealing with something like that. I also think that because a lot of Sag risings have like mommy issues, like this doesn't have to be you, but I do feel like a lot of Sag risings face a lot of turbulence with their mother. So I feel like this particular transit will be good for you for healing those wounds by remothering yourself, or maybe someone else is coming in to mother you for you, or take care of you, or nurture you in some way, shape, or form. But this is definitely a transit where you want to allow yourself to be taken care of by others in some way, shape, or form. Or you may notice that people are a little bit more like willing to come help you and like treat you, especially because Jupiter also has ties with your 4th house. So it could be like a family member, you know, helping you, lending you a hand. But this could also be that maybe you were just like wanting to be hermit, like you just want to stay home. You're like, I'm not trying to be outside, I just want to stay home and be happy. So whatever the case might be, Sagittarius, I kind of just feel like it's pretty safe to say that all Sagittarius, the 8th house changes you forever. So the changes that you initiate during this transit will be pretty permanent by nature, or they will completely change your trajectory for a really long time. This sounds kind of dumb, but the last time Jupiter went through my 8th house, I was in 5th grade, and that's when I graduated elementary school. You know, like you graduate like from elementary school, your life is never going to be the same ever again, you know. So it's like that's like such a wonky, goofy metaphor, but you know, like truly this is one of those transits where it's like, be intentional with the things that you set, and be intentional with the things that you say you want and the things that you work for, because they will be pretty permanent, or they will be very long lasting. The 8th house is very focused on loyalty. It's the definition house of ride or die, at least in my eyes. So a lot of you could be dabbling into something like that, and this will be very spiritually healing for you. And people want to take care of you, like especially because in like the past year, like Sag risings have probably felt like they've been doing everything and ain't not nobody helping them. So this is a pretty positive transit for you in that sense. June might feel a little bit wonky and gross, to be honest, but the rest of like the last week of June / like moving into July, there could be a lot of like random things coming up, especially like Uranus moving into Gemini. It could just be like people popping up and wanting to help you, and you're like, oh my god. So anyway, Sagittarius, that's what I have for you. I pulled a card for Pisces, so I'll pull a card for you too. I think I'll just do one for everyone. So let's see what comes out for you. Which card sticks out to you? This card stuck out to me because it's like, why did it just like split like that? Ooh, we have the moon. Interesting. This card's associated with Pisces, but the moon makes me think of Cancer. So a lot of synchronicities here, but I definitely feel like I want to say the 8th house is still a pretty scary house, and it's uncomfortable. And I just want to say that it'll be one of those things where the internal work is everything. The emotional foundation that you're building right now is truly everything. And there's going to be times where you're afraid of it, but I feel like this is something about the past, you know, and I feel like you're letting go of something. There's something in your life that maybe you feel like is very uncomfortable or very frightening for you, but it's only frightening because you experienced it when you were at your most defenseless state of being. And this is an opportunity for you to face it, but as a more well-prepared being. I don't know, if you're like 11 years old and you're watching this, you really shouldn't be watching this, but like, if you is, you know what I'm saying? It's just like overcoming something that happened to you a very long time ago, or overcoming something that maybe when you first went through it, you felt very defenseless, and now maybe has been repeating itself. And I feel like this is an opportunity for a lot of Sag risings to break a pattern. And, you know, after the moon starts the sun, and it starts rising like it is right now. It's really bright. But I definitely feel like this is like a lot of subconscious healing for you, Sagittarius. And I feel like a lot of Sagittariuses are going to come out of this very spiritually strong, or a lot more wise, or just more unfazed and more grounded. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it and I hope it resonated. Let me know what you're hoping for. I'm hoping for the checks, so that's what my intention is. I want money. Anyways, I will see you later. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I love you. Okay, now we have Aries rising. So hi, Aries. So honestly, Jupiter in Cancer for y'all, I feel like is really, really important. It's important for all of us for sure, but for you, it's a little bit more peculiar because Jupiter's entering the house that you had your chart ruler retrograde for such a long time. I don't care what any of y'all say. Aries risings had the most horrific winter of all time. All Aries placements, really. So like you could be in like an Aries moon or sun. This past winter was probably really stressful for you and probably very all over the place. However, it was also a moment for you to hash something out, and I feel like Jupiter is going to bloom something in the ashes of what has probably been destroyed over the winter, and it's related to your home, your feelings of security, your psychological foundation, and I feel like a lot of Aries risings could be like traveling this year, or maybe you could be going to school in foreign lands because Jupiter rules your 9th house, but also your 12th house. So I think the 12th house rulership is very peculiar because the 12th house is the house of troubles and it's kind of a difficult house. So I feel like the 12th house ruler being exalted in the 4th house, it kind of seems like you are overcoming something in the family that was very difficult. So I kind of see this as like maybe a family member will like turn to God and be like, I'm gonna stop smoking, I'm gonna stop drinking, or something like that. Or maybe like a family member becomes like very religious, or maybe you have a family member that dedicates themselves to learning something new, traveling, moving abroad. And because this is in your 4th house, it's a very personal house. So it might be one of those things where it's like it directly impacts you, you know? So like your mom's like, you know what, like I'm trying to move to France, so we going to France now, you know? So it could be one of those things. And it doesn't even have to be another person. This could be y'all, where y'all turn to spirituality, or you turn to beliefs and higher ideas in order to benefit yourself, in order to let go of something that is bad for you. But I think that the 4th house in general, it makes me think that a lot of you could just be like expanding upon your home. So maybe for some of you, this could be like property investments. You and Sagittarius, I feel like, should definitely look into anything if you're trying to buy a home or if you're trying to invest in property. Really, really good transit to do that, especially if you are dealing with anything with like foreign affairs or like legal matters, or if you have been like battling or something with like custody and whatnot. So something like that could be kind of going on. But for others of you, this could just be as simple as like maybe you're expanding upon your home. So like maybe you're like, you know what, we're knocking down the kitchen wall and then we're turning into a bar, or we're gonna, you know, increase the house size, we're gonna add more rooms. Maybe some of you, interestingly enough, maybe you will go, like something about boarding school could be significant, but this could also be for some of you, like maybe you are changing up your home like that. And like this could be as simple as like, let me get a salt lamp for my room and make it more comfortable and like vibey in here. So spirituality could become a little bit more present in your home. Like maybe some of you are hanging up crosses, or maybe some of you are buying more spiritual pieces like crystals and stuff for your home, or maybe some of you are cleansing your home. This is a really, really good time to do that. If you're wanting to like sage your house, or, you know, like get someone in there to like bless it for you, if that's something that you feel like you should do. But obviously, aside from that, I also just feel like this could be that you are expanding upon your deeper emotional fabric, especially with the square to Saturn, because I feel like maybe this could be like tensions in the home. I honestly feel like for a lot of Aries risings, the next few years will present a lot of turbulence within the household. But at the same time, I don't want to say that in a way that's like, oh, it's like a bad thing. Kind of just seems like things that needed to be aired out will finally be aired out. And a lot of Aries risings, I feel, especially after this Jupiter transit, maybe you won't be feeling like you're walking on eggshells anymore, or maybe you feel like a lot more people in the house, if there's been conflict in the house, that you'll be able to come to a general, more whole consensus, if you know what I mean. But I also feel like because Jupiter, like I said, rules your 12th house, it could be that the 12th house is endings. The fact it's going into your 4th house, like there could be like a bittersweet vibe, like, you know, it's like moving out of your childhood home or like leaving something behind, but for like new opportunity to take risks and have fun and to learn something new. So like I said, I feel like this is a really good time. Like if you're wanting to like go to school, especially for anything like like real estate or anything with like helping people, this could be something where like this is like a very good transit to do that, where a lot of you are maybe like dealing with like property and whatnot. But the 4th house also deals with the past, so I feel like some of you could maybe expanding upon something that happened within your childhood, or maybe some of you are letting go of like childhood trauma. So if you're wanting to do like ancestral work, or if you're wanting to, you know, like get back in, like dig into your family's lineage. I told the same thing to kind of Sagittarius because I feel like y'all are kind of going through the same shades, just like, or you're going through the same thing just in like different shades. And I feel like for you, maybe there's something going on where you are managing something about like the past, like sorting something out, like especially if you're an older Aries risings and like you're dealing with, you know, like messes that were left behind by your parents or like grandparents or something, especially because the Mars retrograde, it also rules your 8th house. So like if somebody was like in the family and they had a lot of debt and there was things that need to be sorted out, this could be like you like cleaning that up and like feeling a lot lighter because of it. So it's like maybe like your grandma like passed a really long time ago, and then you're finally going through her stuff and you're finally like cleaning that out, you know, and being like, you know what, like it's time to lay her to rest, it's time to, you know, like go, something like that. And like I said, I feel like the way that I mentioned that, it comes off as like kind of like sad, or it comes off as like this is a liberation, you know, like because like a lot of you are achieving a sort of compassion, or some of you are achieving some kind of awakening or some kind of transcendence within the home. So it's like, if that means letting go of something, it means that you are finally coming to terms with something. And this doesn't have to be like another person's stuff. It could also be your stuff, you know, like maybe you're like, man, I've had the same bedroom since I was a little kid. It's time to change it up and move along. So some of you could be doing something as simple as that, where you are achieving some kind of transcendence by changing the past and allowing the past to well be in the past and to finally create new energy. Or maybe some of you could be like regressing and being like, you know what, like I want the past back in here some way, shape, or form. I want to embrace it and I want to get back into something. So it's like two sides of the same coin, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, it's a spectrum, and you can decide where you're on that. And Jupiter is just like a very preachy planet, you know, it's a very like philosophical planet. So that's why I'm kind of like talking in this sense, where it's like, excuse me, where it's like transcendence, it's like overcoming something. I feel like on one hand, it kind of comes off as like kind of corny, like kind of cheesy, but I generally feel like a lot of Aries risings will be able to liberate themselves from something that has been kind of haunting them about the past, or you'll finally be able to let go with something that's been going on for like way too long, whether it be that like you and your sister have been like really mad at you and you just want to like release that and have a conversation with her, whether that be like you're just wanting to move out of your home and just like go travel and like see the world and do something different for you, whether that be like, you know what, like I want to be bold and I want to go to school and like Europe or something, you know. So a lot of you could be on that. So a lot of you could also just be dealing with like family members coming to stay with you, because the 9th house can be like in-laws. So it could be that there's expansion in the family. So it could be like, you know, your mom's pregnant again, or maybe like your sister is pregnant, or like maybe like the family households are like increasing, you know, like people get married in, and then like the in-laws move in, and then you're like meeting your brother's girlfriend slash fiance, and you're like, oh my gosh, hello, you know, something like that. And the Jupiter ruling the 9th house, that makes me also think of like a major like higher up. So it could be that you're receiving some kind of fortune or blessing or good thing from like a bigger concept, like a core or like a group of people or something like that, you know, where it's just like a building of authority and a building of power that is helping you with something. So it could be that some of y'all are receiving a grant for a mortgage, but for others of you, it could also just be, like I said, it could be stuff with like in-laws in the family increasing in some way, people getting married in, people conceiving, whether this be you or other people. But anyways, that's what I see for you, Aries, or what I feel for you. Let me know what you think, and let me pull a tarot card for you and see what comes out for you. So anyways, what card sticks up to you? I feel like this first one's want to come out. You see it? Ooh, yeah, the High Priestess. Very I kind of see you as the high priestess, and because the fourth house is very psychic, or it is very emotional, especially for you, Aries, like you probably have a good way of like predicting things happening. I feel like for you, this is a sign to trust your gut, and I kind of feel like this is like you feeling more grounded in yourself so that your intuition can be used more. It makes me think of like, oh my gosh, like I can never use the toaster because it's like dirty. You know, it could be that a lot of you haven't been able to like put your intuition to good use because it's been murky. And I feel like this transit will allow you to get more in tune with yourself on like a very spiritual level. But for others of you, it could be that there is someone watching over you, or there's like an unseen force in the universe that is benefiting you and wanting to sponsor your good things. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Aries. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this. I hope that it resonates for you and good things come to you. But anyways, I will see you later. Bye. Okay, now we're going to move on to Taurus rising. So hi, Taurus. If you are seeing this is Jupiter in Cancer for you. Honestly, Taurus, I feel like you have like kind of like a goofy Jupiter transit, because Jupiter is going to be moving through your third house. So I feel like the third house, it makes me think of like learning. So it might be feeling like a little bit more of a direct, like a continuation of Jupiter and Gemini for you, but just a little bit more meaningful. So I feel like, and here's what I mean by this. So Jupiter and Gemini is typically associated with the third house. So you've seen over the past year that there's a lot of stuff with like Gemini themes and people feeling very righteous in those areas. You know, like driving, speech, conversation, the podcast. Everyone and their mama was like, I just had like a very good conversation because I'm a human being. Let me start a podcast. And it could have just been like an absorption of like random facts, you know, where like, you know, people are like scrolling online, you know, wanting to learn the random facts, you know, be like, oh, like, did you know an octopus has 3 hearts? Oh, did you know that plants, when you like cut grass and stuff, like the smell is them screaming, you know, like stuff like that, where people are just very fascinated by little fun facts and things that were very, you know, like all over the place. And for you, it's probably like social media and money. But Jupiter in Cancer for you, I feel like it will have kind of the same effect on you, but a little bit more intentional. And what I mean by that is like, maybe you picked up on like real estate and then you kind of just dabbled into it and you're like, oh wow, that's really cool. And then throughout this Jupiter transit, it's like you actually committing to learning something about it, profiting off of it, making more money out of it, or even like becoming like an official business with it. So it doesn't have to be at such a grand scale. It could be something else, but I do feel like Jupiter is like a planet of extremes because it's the biggest planet in our solar system. And Jupiter has ties with your 8th house, but as well as your 11th house, which is a pretty spicy combination to have in the 3rd house, because I feel like this could be like a lot of networking opportunities, especially in like your local neighborhood or like groups of people. So a lot of you could be talking more to people in your local area. This could also be siblings. Low-key, maybe some of y'all, like your sibling could be becoming a mom. So like if you have like a sister or something, like maybe she could be having children. But for others of you, I also feel like this could just be like expanding upon knowledge that really connects to you and really intrigues you, makes you feel a sense of purpose. Like when I think of Cancer, I think of a sign that really wants to achieve more, that wants to do more, and it wants to do so in a way that is important to them, you know? A Cancer does not want to live a meaningless life, and I feel like this is translating for you through knowledge, information, and also driving. So some of you could be literally getting a car during this transit. Not a bad time to do that, especially since Jupiter rules your 8th house. So a lot of you could receive some kind of good fortune with your car, or if you're trying to get like your car fixed or something. So a lot of you could be receiving a good fortune with that, you know, like maybe the mechanic like gives you like a discount on your oil change, or like maybe you decide to buy a car and then there's like a big sale of it going on. I don't know if they do sales on cars, but like that's just like what I imagine. You know, something like that. Or it could just be like maybe you're getting together with like a group of people or something to create a project together. But I also just kind of feel like this could be like expanding upon like words and language. Some of you could literally be learning like a foreign language, or maybe some of you could be just kind of like learning like other ways to talk, more vocabulary. That's definitely appropriate for a 3rd house transit with Jupiter. And I also feel like a lot of you could find like-minded people, or opportunities will have a way to come through to you by other people. So really good transit to network and talk to people, especially within the family and like on your mom's side of the family, particularly because Cancer is the mother. But Jupiter ruling your 8th house is also pretty peculiar because I feel like a lot of you could be doing something with like online banking or things with like cryptocurrency. So a lot of you could have some good fortune with that if that's something that you're really into, or like digital currency. And I especially think that with Uranus having moved through your 1st house, like you're very well equipped to deal with making monies in like funky new ways. And the 8th house, because Jupiter rules your 8th house, that means Jupiter rules other people's money, or Jupiter rules, you know, like intimacy and other people's resources. So it's like through the 3rd house, maybe some of you are getting like loans for something. Like I see this as like you like apply for a loan for a car and you get like a really big sum of money, you know. But for others of you, this could also be something about like you open like a website, or you know, like maybe you like do open a talk show or like a podcast and people are like wanting to pay you for your knowledge, what you know, and the information that you possess. So it could be that a lot of people are paying to have a conversation with you, or it could also just be that you're having very deep, meaningful conversations with specific people. You know, the 8th house is very deep, it's very mysterious. So a lot of you could be feeling especially like intuitive or like psychological this year, where maybe some of you are wanting to learn more about those areas of life as it relates to like communication. And it could be like the internet is like a major source of like income or a source of education for you. So maybe some of you are like Googling stuff, maybe some of y'all are like working like that AI or whatever. Others of you could just be like meeting people online, you know? And for others of you, I also just kind of feel like this could be something, or not others of you, but I do want to say that I just feel like in the 3rd house, it makes me think of like early experiences and like your neighborhood. So interesting enough, like there could be stuff going on with like property values and like money stuff in your neighborhood. So it could be that you see expansion in your neighborhood where they're building like a new coffee shop in your neighborhood, or maybe they are investing more money and like, you know, putting stuff into your local area. So if you're wanting to invest in property, like I said, I feel like, especially if it's in like your local area, like this is a really good transit to do that. I feel like for all of us, it's a very good transit to invest in property and whatnot. But for you, it kind of seems like a little bit different because it kind of just seems like you're seeing expansion and money change within your immediate area. So it could be that the value of your home goes up because of the stuff going on. But like I said, this could also just be like they're building a new neighborhood, because when I saw Jupiter moving through, it was moving through Gemini and it moved through Aries. So it could be like your local area is expanding. I noticed like Aries placements, like their area was like expanding and growing. So more people could be moving into where you live, especially like the 11th house. So there could be like groups of people moving into your area, maybe like-minded people or very like spiritual people. So I low-key almost wonder if like more churches will open up where you live, or there'll be more like fellowship things where like there's like gatherings, or like maybe a school will open up. The 3rd house is about like elementary and like early education. So maybe some of you are adopting something with like teaching other people. Like maybe some of you are getting in contact with like a teacher, but others of you, it could just be like expansion in the neighborhood and things like that. Especially when it comes to like homes and properties, like they could be building more houses, more apartment complexes where you live. So some of you could be dealing with that. Anyways, I kind of just feel like it could also just be that maybe some of you are implementing more technology into your home, right? Cancer is the home, the 3rd house is technology. So this is also a really good transit if you're trying to like get a new fridge, if you're trying to get like new fixtures for your home, or like new lighting, or like new like cool gadgets and stuff like that. Like the 3rd house is like cutesy little things. So it could be like maybe some of y'all find like, I don't know, like a fridge with a screen on it, and you're like, yo, this is really dope, this is really cool. Others of you could also find stuff like like new chargers and whatnot, and you're like, wow, this is really cool. Like maybe you're getting a TV, maybe you're getting like an Alexa or an Echo or something. Not sponsored, by the way, but I'm like looking around my house to see like what that could be. But it doesn't have to be technology. It could just be like cool little gadgets and things that make your life a little bit more convenient, more accessible, especially if you like live with people who like need that. But you know, it could just be like, and it could have like a spiritual theme to it. So maybe some of you are like buying like, or like an educational thing. So like some of you could be like getting like bookshelves and like books and like investing in knowledge in some way, shape, or form. Anyways, let me pull a tarot card for you before I send you off. Which card do you stand out? Which one do you want to see? This one. Ooh, we have the 8 of Pentacles. Yeah, definitely hard work. I almost wonder if this is like the increase in your neighborhood, and then you have like a job opportunity because of it. But for others of you, this could also just be like you're working hard, you know, like working on your website, working on your business, working on financial opportunities. And it could be that people are wanting to pay you for your services, pay you for the things that you offer, and pay you for your wisdom, the knowledge that you possess, or the things that you know. And it could be that people are trying to hire you as a mentor, or it could just be that people are reaching out to you in some way. And overall, I just feel like this Jupiter in Cancer will be a lot of work and a lot of labor, but more so in a good way, because you're able to do something and tend to something that you are passionate about, and to be more creative, and to be more yourself, and to be more, not like rebellious, but in a way that's like, you know, like I want to do what I want to do, you know? But anyways, that's all I have for you, Taurus. I clapped louder for the other two, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the reading, and I hope it resonated with you. Let me know what you guys thought. Anyways, let me know what you want Jupiter to bring for you, and I will see you in another video. Bye. Love you. Okay, so now we have Gemini rising. So hi, Gemini. If you're seeing this will be Jupiter in Cancer for you. And Jupiter is going through your second house. I'm not even gonna lie. When Jupiter moves to the second house, it's just more stuff. Like, you just get more stuff, you know, like there's no other way to put it. Like, you just get more stuff, like more good things. The second house is very material. It's very, you know, like money related. So it could be that a lot of you are like buying more, shopping more. You could be receiving like an influx of finances. And I do want to mention that this is like a more money, more problems kind of thing. So it's like you get more money, but then you have more expenses. So I just want to throw that out there, because I feel like when Jupiter was in Taurus, it's kind of like that vibe, you know, like more stuff, more food, more goodies. It's just kind of like we see an influx of other stuff, you know, like, so do know that it could expand to any material thing. And it is all about your perspective and where you direct your energy. I'm very serious about the second house, because I love the second house, okay? I love me some money. So, and I'm not even gonna lie about that. So I just want to like kind of get that out of the way, because I feel like when Jupiter moves through your second house, you won't necessarily see like, oh, like I have more money now, but this could definitely see like more payoff in investment. So this is a very good time to invest in things, especially like properties and homes. I've been telling this to literally every sign, but I feel like this is like a golden opportunity where if you're wanting to invest in property, or if you're wanting to invest in your home in any way, this is like a really good time to do that. Especially because your 7th house is ruled by Jupiter, and also your 10th house. So anyways, there's a lot to talk about. So I feel like because Jupiter rules your 7th house and it's going to be in the 2nd house, a lot of you could also be expanding upon your values with other people and achieving some sort of like intimacy. Because the 7th house ruler being in Cancer, it just makes me think of like more emotional attachments. Cancer is about the past too. So maybe some of you are talking to people whom you've known since like childhood, or maybe some of you are expanding upon relationships that you've had since childhood. I especially think that with Saturn moving through your 11th house and forming that square with Jupiter, maybe some of you are running into some kind of a struggle with like distance and like beliefs and values, spirituality within your friend groups or the people that you relate to. So maybe some of you are seeking out a new tribe, or maybe some of you are trying to look for a group of people that better benefit you in that way, where like people like agree with you and they support you and they uplift you, especially if you feel like restricted by them at like a financial level. So like maybe some of you are like trying to look for opportunity and you feel very held back by the community that you're a part of, and this could be you like setting out to find more people. And it's very important that like with Saturn moving through your 11th house, by the way, like try to be like social, or try to be a little bit more peculiar about the people who are around you, because you might not know how they might be restricting you or holding you back and like transmuting their issues to you, if you know what I mean. But anyways, Jupiter in the 2nd house, it also makes me think about trusting yourself more, and Jupiter is about knowledge, travel. This is a really, really good transit where if you feel like not good enough, or if you deal with like self-worth struggles, or if you struggle with feeling very like unstable or afraid, Jupiterian themes, especially like through Cancerian themes, will be something that bring you a lot of good fortune and a lot of that inner trust, you know, that inner vibe of like, you know what, like I got this, like I'm the hot, you know, and you know, doing so by going to school, taking classes, reading books, or traveling and moving around, being there. And I think it's interesting because the Jupiter usually is like in-laws and like the spouse. So maybe some of you, if you do have a spouse or if you do have a partner, especially since Jupiter rules your 7th house, it could be that maybe you are meeting their family, you know, like if you have like if you're married, I could totally see this as, by the way, like this could be like marriage. Like I think that like because Jupiter rules your 7th house, a lot of you could be getting like real serious about like marriage in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't have to be like, oh, you're getting married. I just kind of see it as like, you know what, like this is what I'm worth, this is what I want from marriage, you know, like I want someone who has this, this, and this. But anyways, for others of you, I feel like if you are married or if you do have a spouse, or like even if like someone you know has a spouse, like you could be knowing, like getting to meet their family a little bit more. And I also want to mention that because Jupiter rules your 10th house with Pisces over there, it could be that maybe some of you are receiving good things from higher ups. Like I low-key see this as, you know, you're working and then your boss is like, hey, like you've been doing a good job, here's some extra money on your check, or hey, like let me take you out to go get something to eat, or do you want coffee, you know? So you can notice that higher ups or people who are above you in like a work setting or just like in general could be a little bit more generous with you. So some of y'all could be dealing with something like that. But I would also imagine that this could be something about the father, because the 10th house makes me think of the father, and especially with like Saturn in your 11th house, like I almost wonder if there's something about like your dreams and what you want to accomplish and how it's like related to your dad. But anyways, I digress. The Cancer in the 2nd house, I also feel like it's about like emotional security. That definitely makes me think. And this is like low-key a very good transit for you to keep something that like makes you feel like secure, like a keepsake. I always say that like because Cancer knows how to live. Cancer likes money. Cancer likes nice things. All right, y'all. Like if you've met a Cancer, like I can guarantee that Cancers have gone broke once or twice in their life because they do like to splurge and they do like nice things. Okay. And if for some reason you're a Cancer placement watching this, like, you know it's tea, so don't even like argue with me. Like this is a pre-recorded video. We're not doing this. Anyways, I definitely feel like this is like one of those transits where some of you could keep like a keepsake box. So like maybe some of you are like keeping like you're finding stuff. So maybe like you find your mom's old pearls from her wedding, and then this is like you be like, oh, these are so valuable, like I want to keep them. Or this could be like, oh, I want to start keeping like a jewelry box, and like I want to like keep my goodies in them, keep my stuff that makes me happy. Like maybe you like got a pen for your grandma and it's like it's more valuable than any dollar in the world, you know? That's what I mean by like it could just like be something else. It doesn't necessarily have to be like financial. It could be like a material thing that you treasure, or it could be like a teaching that you start to value. And it could be very well be from your mother, because Cancer is the mother. So maybe some of you are having like a very genuine or very deep interaction with the mother, and it builds your self-worth. Or maybe some of you are becoming a mother, or like some of you are leaning into being a mother, and this is what, you know, brings you solace, brings you hope. And obviously if you're not a guy and you're not a mom, like this could be something about your mother and like your relationship with her and how that relates to your self-worth and how you receive affection and love and nurturing, and also perspective from women or like more feminine energies. But I also feel like because Jupiter rules your 10th and it's in the 2nd house, like this is a very good time to like find jobs. I feel like this could be like where a lot of Gemini risings may find like a job opportunity, or like just people will be more generous with you. Anyways, that's kind of like the gist of what I have for you. I feel like Jupiter in the 2nd house is like a very like basic, very like, oh, like it's very literal. So, but overall, I just say Gemini, if you want to see the maximum potential of this transit, it's a good time to dedicate yourself to learning something. It could be that like maybe some of you are dedicating yourselves to like, you know, like classes, like a degree, or, you know, like traveling or moving abroad. Things like that will bring you good fortune. And not necessarily because like it makes you more money right away, but it's like you're investing in yourself through knowledge, and this will make you a more valuable person. And you'll trust that because like as a Gemini rising, you naturally just really value information and knowledge. So acquiring that, but in a more purposeful and meaningful way, will make you feel a lot better. Especially since Jupiter and Gemini, it's been like, oh, like I know why platypuses are named platypuses, but that doesn't really benefit me and my higher good. But then throughout this Jupiter transit, it's kind of like, oh, like I know that, you know, like I can't really think of an example, but like a very valuable piece of information that actually does serve you and actually does something. Like I see this as like, oh, like platypuses are named platypuses, but then like this transit, it's like, oh, like so this is what equity means when it comes to buying a home, you know, like that's like valuable information, you know, like that's something that like is good for you to know and something that like other people could benefit off of. Do you see what I mean? It's like you're learning more purposeful, more emotional knowledge, because Cancer is like emotional, and then Jupiter is about like higher knowledge. So it's like what you feel called towards. Like a lot of you could just be feeling very called towards something when it comes to knowledge and like information that you feel is valuable to you. And it could be coming in through like a very Jupiterian person. So a lot of you can meet like money making opportunities through like a Sagittarius or another like a Pisces. Let's see what card comes out for you. Which card sticks out to you? That one. I don't know why. For you, we have the Seven of Pentacles, definitely. The Seven of Pentacles is about continuation. It's about progress. So I definitely feel like a lot of you have probably started something already with Jupiter in Gemini. And this is about like expanding upon that, especially like the Mars retrograde that happened. Like maybe a lot of you were realizing your hopes and your desires and your visions for your money and your resources, but also your self-worth. And then Jupiter going through here is like you actually sticking to it, committing to something and be like, you know what, this is my faith, this is my destiny, this is what I want to commit myself to, and this is what I feel is important, and this is what I will continue to build off of. This is after the Six of Pentacles, so I feel like this is like one of those transits where it's like you are stabilizing and then you will make and then some kind of progress. This is going to also be like financial windfall, or like seeing a payoff in like ways that you have invested your money in the past, or like you're investing your money throughout this transit and you'll see it pay off. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Gemini. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this. I hope it made sense to you. Let me know what you're hoping Jupiter will bring you. I've been telling everyone, I'm hoping Jupiter will bring me that money. Let me not even lie to you. I'm a Taurus moon. But anyways, I will see you around. Bye. Love you. Thank you for watching. Okay, now we have Cancer rising. So hi Cancer, if you're seeing this, this will be Jupiter in Cancer for you. And Jupiter is going through your first house, and I want to talk to you about this because I feel like people hype up Jupiter in going through your sign a lot, okay? And I'm not trying to like rain on a parade, or I'm not trying to tell you like, oh my gosh, like it's not as good as you think it is. Like I think it is really good, but I tend to notice that when Jupiter crosses over your sign or even makes major aspects to places in your chart, it doesn't feel that great in the moment, but when you look back you realize how great it is. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, when Jupiter went through Taurus, it conjunct my moon, and I was about to be like, out here y'all, like I was about to be like, girl, like I'm out here like money AF, material girl, and I was low-key on that. But it is also something where it's like in the moment it's very overwhelming, you know, like it's very in your face. Like if I put Jupiter in your face right now, like you can't see the whole planet. Like it is so unfathomably large and so huge. And Jupiter rules what? Your sixth house of health, habits, routine. So you'll definitely be seeing like an expansion in like the mundane, and then you'll realize like it's very in your face. But then after this year passes, you'll probably look back and look to the beliefs and like the things that you kind of like dabbled into. You're like, oh wow, like that was actually like really good. Like let me go back to that. Like for example, when Jupiter was moving through my sixth house and it was conjunct my moon, I did some health things back then, and then I kind of let them go, and it was just kind of like whatever. But now I've been like looking back, I'm like, yo, like the health practices I had back then were lit AF. Let me like dabble back into that. So it could be that a lot of you will dabble into something throughout this Jupiter transit for your body. You know, Jupiter's moving through your first house, which is the body. And it could be that the things that you do for your body throughout this transit, it's like they will be especially good for you, or they will bring you to a higher good or a lot more health, especially because Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So it's like you'll definitely see some good things for you in that sense. I just wanted to say that in the sense that I don't want you to go into this transit being like, oh my gosh, like life's about to be lit AF. And then like you're going through it and then you're like, man, like why is this like so much? Like everyone told me that it was gonna be like a really good transit. It is a good transit, but it's just like you should know that you're growing. Expansion doesn't always feel so great. Sometimes it kind of hurts, you know, like when a bodybuilder goes to the gym and they like build their muscles, it like hurts, you know, like it's a painful process. But after you rest and you recuperate, you look back and you're like, wow, like I look great, you know? And so very much it could be something like that. Jupiter ruling your sixth house, but also your ninth house. This is a pretty good territory for Jupiter. I'd say little things will count. The little efforts that you put in will definitely be counting this year. And what I mean by that is like, oh, you know, I'm just gonna go for like a 5-minute walk down my street and then come right back home. You know, like that is like a very minuscule kind of thing, but then like when you actually put it into practice and you get that discipline, like it will expand. Like Jupiter ruling your sixth house is like definitely like really good luck for you, because manifestation will come to you a lot quicker if you put in those small consistent efforts. It doesn't necessarily have to be like grandiose, it doesn't have to be like dramatic or anything. It can be if you wanted to, you know, you're grown, do whatever you want. But I also kind of just see this more as like, oh, you know, I'm just gonna do this little thing every single day, take my vitamins, or, you know, go for a walk, and then it just like ends up, you know, like bringing you a lot of goodness. I could totally see that some of you are getting a pet during this transit too, because Jupiter rules your 6th house, and that's like pets. And because Jupiter's like foreign, like maybe some of y'all getting like an exotic pet, like maybe y'all out here about to get like a parrot or some, or like a chinchilla. Is that an exotic pet? I want a chinchilla, so that's why I kind of brought it out. Anyways, but because Jupiter also rules your 9th house, it could be that a lot of you are traveling. Maybe some of you are going abroad. Maybe you're dedicating yourself to a cause, and it could be related to like home. But for others of you, it could just be that like you are trying to learn something new, or maybe some of you are becoming something. Like I see this as like you are becoming the preacher or the mentor, instead of like, you know, like maybe some of you will get a mentor throughout this transit. I could totally see that for a lot of Cancer risings, where it's like you consult someone and then they like, you know, take you under their wing, and then you're kind of like learning something. But for others of you, it could be that you are reaching that state of like transcendence, to where you're able to teach other people and you're able to help other people, especially in like a holistic way. Is the rulership over the 6th house. So I almost wonder if some Cancer risings will be opening up a service, or maybe some of you will offer something for others. Excuse me, or like somebody else could be offering you a service that you're able to like liberate yourself, learn more, and be out there. Jupiter in the 1st house can cause weight gain, so that's what I've heard, so be wary of that. Like if you're not trying to gain no weight, and I know you hate to hear it, but it's like, I'm not gonna lie to you. But the 1st house is about self-expression, it's about knowledge, it's about what we know, and like, not what we know, but it's like our 1st house, that makes me think of like our essence, you know, like the clothes that I'm wearing, you know, like the glasses that I'm wearing, the way I have my hair, you know, like my acne. It's like, that's like my essence, that's like my 1st house, like this is your impression of me. So a lot of you could be in this sense of like you're wanting to change your body up in some way, or the things that you're learning are influencing you on a more mindful level. So maybe this is you being like, oh, like I really don't want to, like this could be very like interesting. Like I almost wonder if this is like, oh, like I need to stop wearing like plated jewelry, like I want to wear like real gold or like real stainless steel or something, because I'm allergic to it, and I want to like wear things that are more powerful and more meaningful. Some of y'all could literally start wearing like crystals or like religious pieces or something like that. But for others of you, I just feel like you'll be more mindful about how things interact with your body, or how you express yourself. Like this is definitely like saint vibes, like saint energy, where a lot of you are releasing something and you are being more preachy, more honest, and you're speaking your truth a little bit more, and you are vocalizing them and putting yourself out there more, and just being a little bit more honest, you know, like that's the way I see it. And obviously, like because this is going through your sign, it doesn't necessarily have to be like one specific thing. It could just, I just feel like the cookie cutter or like the one size fits all vibe for you, all Cancer risings, is that I feel like a lot of Cancer risings will be putting in more consistent effort, and they will see a lot more reward and merit for it than they usually would. And it seems to be related to your home, your body. And interesting enough, I almost wonder if some of you are going through changes within your family, because Jupiter rules the 9th house, and the 9th house rules like in-laws or like long distance family. So maybe some of you are about to go see long distance family. Maybe long distance family is coming to see you, and maybe you haven't seen them in a really long time, and then they're like, oh my gosh, hi, like, you know, it's been so long, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh my gosh, you know. So a lot of y'all could be going through something like that. The 9th house also makes me think of just like spirituality in general. So like maybe some of y'all are like dabbling into religion, changing your religion, or like changing something about like your beliefs. Maybe some of you are incorporating like prayer or something like that into your day-to-day routine, or just living a little bit more like spiritually. Like it makes me think of like when Saturn was going through Pisces for Libra risings, and I'm mentioning that because I feel like the energy will be the same for you, but just like way more positive, you know, where it's like you want to live your life with more intention, with more belief, with more optimism, you know, like instead of just eating your breakfast and be like, oh, this is my breakfast, it tastes good AF, like love this for me. It's like, oh, I'm eating my breakfast and I'm nourishing my body and I'm giving it more energy to manifest the things that I want. You know, it's like setting more intentions of like the little things. You know, it's like, oh, like I'm just gonna go shower and just like clean myself. Like I just got home from work and I'm like really tired and gross. This could also be like, oh, like I'm gonna take a shower and I'm going to wash off all that gunk and all that negative energy from my body today, and I'm going to clean my soul off, and I'm going to make sure that I am more present, and you know, like my body is more raw to the good energies that, you know, like things like that. And the 6th house also makes me think of what does the sixth house also make me think of? It just makes me think of like health and habits. So I feel like that's very much what a lot of you could be on. And sixth house also rules work. So maybe some of you are like dabbling into like foreign work again. So like maybe some of you are moving for like a job opportunity, or maybe some of you are increasing your reach if you own like a business or something, or if you like run like some kind of project that needs like more people. Like this is could be you like reaching more people, more audience. Anyways, let me shuffle the cards. I've been pulling a tarot card for everyone, so let's see what comes out for you. Oh, card just like fell out. We have the Page of Pentacles. When I see the Page of Pentacles, it makes me think of like a little kid who really wants something. So like a little kid that's like, man, I want the new Spider-Man game. Or a little kid that's like, oh, I really want like a lollipop. You know, it makes me think of that, where a lot of you could be in this vibe of like, man, I really want this for me. And, you know, like Sagittarius and like Jupiter, Pisces is very much about like wanting something. It's about desiring something, feeling connected to something, wanting to do whatever you can to get your hands on what it is that you want. So a lot of you could be entering that kind of vibe, especially if you've been feeling like misdirected or misguided, or you've been feeling like you are being restricted in some way, especially by like authority figures, because your 10th house ruler was retrograde in your first house. So maybe some of you felt very like controlled, or some of you felt held back, or some of you felt like restricted, or like you couldn't do what you wanted to do. And then this transit is going to be like, man, I really want this. Like I'll do whatever I can to get my hands on it and achieve it. And I feel like this is very much the beginning steps of you doing something for yourself and owning yourself. Anyways, also some of you could just like literally becoming a parent. Like a lot of you could literally just become a parent. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Cancer. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this, and let me know what you hope Jupiter brings for you. I've been telling everyone, I want Jupiter to bring me money. That Chanel perfume ain't gonna buy itself. And I know I keep talking about it, but it's like... Anyways, see you soon. Love you. Okay, so now we've got Leo rising. So hello, Leo rising. I honestly feel like Jupiter in Cancer for you will feel a little bit unassuming. I think that this will be a very foundational year for you, and you want to take this year seriously, because after this, we're going to see Jupiter move into Leo next year. So the things that you invest into this year when it comes to yourself and what you decide to let go of will heavily influence how good Jupiter and Leo is going to go for you. So be intentional this year, even if you feel like nothing is really happening. And the reason I say this is because Jupiter is going to go through your 12th house, which is a very unassuming house and not exactly the most positive house, as we all know. And Jupiter rules your 5th house. So I kind of see a few things kind of coming up for you. The first thing is that I feel like there will be an expansion of fun, or perhaps you are letting go of something when it comes to the way that you have fun and developing newer perspectives as a way to like get rid of things. Like what I mean by that is the 5th house ruler going to the house where planets go to let things go and shed skins. I kind of see this as like, you know, like maybe letting go of something because you feel like something is not working for you. Like, for example, when I was a little kid, I had 2 babysitters and they both smoked, and one of them let go of smoking because she talked to God. And then the other babysitter just says she ain't got no money for cigarettes. So it could just be that you are coming to like some kind of like a conclusion to let go of something that is maybe not working for you, especially if you do struggle with addiction, because the 5th house, it can take risks. And I kind of feel like with Sagittarius over your 5th house, like maybe this could be like a bad habits or like things that you have been struggling with, especially if you do gamble or if you do like things that are not necessarily good for you. So those are mostly for the people where if you know you have bad habits that need to be addressed. Jupiter also has ties with your 8th house, which is very psychological. So I feel like a lot of Leo risings could be dabbling into a lot of psychology in order to let go of something. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of you go through like hypnotherapy, or maybe you consult someone, or maybe you just kind of like set out to let go of something. And Cancer is the mother, and because your Jupiter is going to be moving through Cancer, it makes me think of like letting go of things revolving around the mother, because I noticed that a lot of Leo risings have a lot of blind spots when it comes to the relationship with the mother. So it could be that a lot of you are letting go of something in that regard. But the 12th house, like I said, it's a very unassuming transit, and you're going to be feeling like something is growing and you feel it, but you're not really too sure what it is. And it could be bad or good, but the point is that something will be brought to the surface. I don't know why, but I'm like imagining like a body of water, and then like a balloon's like under the water, and like it's expanding underwater, and then eventually like emerges out of the water. And then you're like, oh my gosh, like what is this? I've never seen this before. So I feel like a lot of you could be like, if you are like a religious person, or if you're like a very spiritual person, this could be something about into new practices, letting go of practices, or changing your practices. For others of you, this could also be something about learning, education, and because that's what Jupiter rules. You know, Jupiter is about learning, and when it's in Sun and Cancer, it makes me think of like learning more about the basics. So I feel like I almost wonder if some of you are trying to learn more about a comfortable life. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of Leo risings over the next year kind of go into like hidden mode, where you just kind of like hide away, and that's kind of where you find your fun, your inner child, and how you express yourself, especially like being a little bit more vulnerable. If you feel like, because Cancer makes me think of like being a little bit clammed up, and makes me think of like being hesitant to share your emotions. So the 12th house is the house of your struggles. So maybe some of you are expanding upon or examining your struggles and the things that you have been dealing with, and that's been causing you difficulty in your life in some way, shape, or form. And I also feel like there will be an increase in compassion in your life. I feel like this will be from the people around you, and also the way that you give it to others. So I feel like because Cancer is a very loving sign, and Jupiter exalted in the 12th house, it just makes me think that there will be more love for all when it comes to the people around you, and there will be more support. Since Jupiter rules your 8th house, this could be like people giving you money, people lending you a hand, people trying to help you, people trying to, assist you in some way. And because Jupiter rules the 5th house, I like low-key almost wonder if y'all could deal with like hidden pregnancies. So like be watchful of that if you ain't trying to have no kids. But if you are trying to have a kid, I feel like this could be one of those years where like you kind of like set a way to kind of like do something on your own, and like, like have a kid in private. But for others of you, I also feel like, because the 12th house can be like with like unknown lands or places that are more like taboo, or like they're just like unknown to you. Like it makes me think of like going to like some place that you've never heard of before. So you're like, oh, I've never heard of Brazil, and then I go to Brazil, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've never been to Brazil, but like here I am now, like I just found out about this place. So it's like a lot of you could be doing some unexpected traveling, or some of you could experience a lot of growth by traveling and moving around. The 12th house also makes me think of the bedroom, and it makes me think of, like your personal space. So a lot of you could be enriching this part of your life. So maybe some of you are investing into your bed, getting a new bed, or maybe some of you are trying to create more rituals or have more fun in your bedroom. So it could really be anything, but a lot of you, I would imagine, like this is just a really good year where if you're wanting to manifest and you're wanting to see expansion, nest and make your room very comfortable. This is for all 12 zodiac signs, but for you specifically, when it comes to your bedroom, where you sleep and where you spend your alone time, what you consider to be your sanctuary, you want to make sure it's comfortable. Whether it be like you're actually going somewhere to, like learn and to be by yourself, like this could really be anything. The 12th house rules things like, it doesn't rule the most positive places, but it rules places like hospitals. It rules, like, it's like anytime you're alone or you're in a place of healing. So it could be as like grim as like a prison, but it could be something more, positive, or maybe you go to like a park or something and you're just like by yourself. So I think that a lot of revelations could come to Leo risings when it comes to being alone and spending time with yourself. And because Jupiter rules your children, it could also be that a lot of you are wanting to protect your children more, or you are dealing with some kind of a blind spot, especially if you are a mother, or if, like you're a woman expecting a baby on the way. So like, all that stuff. It could be that a lot of you are addressing your own wounds, or what you need to let go of when it comes to being a mother, your feelings about being a mother. But obviously, if you're a boy, this could also just be expansion within, like your relationship with your mother. The mother's just gonna be like very significant, because Cancer is the mother. And it kind of just seems like whatever is going on for you, Leo, you're expanding upon it yourself at like a deeper level. And it doesn't seem like it's something that you are doing consciously. It's just kind of like it's a byproduct of how you're behaving. So because Jupiter rules your 8th house and your 5th house, you want to pay attention to blind spots in these areas, you know, so the way that you deal with debt, your taxes, your insurance, or the way you deal with intimacy, relating to people at a deeper level when it comes to psychology, when it comes to astrology, reading tarot, spirituality, or even like the way you have fun, the way you take risks, the way you express yourself and interact with your children. All these areas, you want to double check yourself and just give yourself a second before you react. And those reactions that you have will bring you a lot of insight, because it's just kind of like the things that you do without thinking about much. It's like when you break those down and you look at why you do those things and where those habits come from, that's where you're probably going to see a lot of things kind of coming up to the surface and bubbling up. And it could be very emotional, but it could also be very liberating, because the 12th house is compassionate. It is self-sacrificing, and it just might be that there is an experience that you witness or you have. I more so think it'll be something that you witness that unlocks unlimited compassion in you, or maybe something happens to you and then like compassion is ignited within others. And that's just kind of what I see, because I feel like Jupiter like expanding things in the 12th house, it's like very unpredictable. There's like no way to say that it'll be strictly positive or negative, but like when you can look at it for what it is from like a bigger, more omniscient picture, we can definitely say that there will be more love in your life, and love in the cracks that maybe you didn't see before. Anyways, I'm going to pull you a tarot card before I let you go. So let's see. Sorry, those are my neighbors. Which card sticks out to you? This one, do you see like stick out? For you, we have the 10 of Wands. I really like this card because I kind of feel like it talks about what I was saying, you know, like releasing baggage and to be more in tune with your spirit, to be more in tune with your body, to be more in tune with your feelings regarding home, feeling more grounded. There we go. Feeling more rooted. Cancer is the roots. Cancer is your hometown, you know, feeling more connected to those things. It could be like more tangible, where like you get in contact with your baby blanket, but this could be more intangible, where you feel something that you haven't felt in a really long time, and through that you are letting go of something and releasing something so that you can make more room for those nostalgic feelings and to feel more comfortable within yourself and to reach a whole new level of compassion for you, your body, your spirit, but also the people around you. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Leo. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what y'all are hoping for with Jupiter in Cancer. I don't know about you, but I'm hoping for that money. Anyways, see you all soon. I hope you guys like this. Let me know. Anyways, okay. Now we are moving on to Virgo rising. So, hi Virgo. If you're seeing this, this will be my predictions for you for Jupiter in Cancer. And I have you say, Virgo, I feel like y'all will have, I don't want to hype you up too much, but an exalted Jupiter in the 11th house is like, that's TAF, especially if you have this like natally, like that's really lucky. And obviously this isn't something that's just like, oh, it like happens and then just because that your life is like amazing now, like, you know, it's more of like it requires the emotional effort and the emotional investment, because that's what Cancer is about. You know, Cancer, I always say, like, it makes me think of like a Cancer Venus, you know. It's not always concerned about like the material things, and value is added when you give it feelings. Like, for example, like if you just buy a pen from the store and you're like, oh, this is a really nice pen, like you're just gonna like that pen, you know, it's a nice pen. But if like your great grandmother gave you that pen and it was the exact same pen that you can just buy at the store, there's something about it that's a little bit more emotional, you know, there's something about that's a little bit more sweet. And I feel like that's kind of the energy for you, Virgo. And because it's in your 11th house, this is about social circles, groups, people, but also ideas, dreams, and visions that you have, and how that kind of correlates with your relationships with other people. Jupiter rules your 4th house, so I feel like this will be very literal, and like Jupiter also rules your 7th house, so I feel like this will definitely be like meeting the right people, being around the right people. It could be that a lot of you are finding a lot of opportunities, or you're seeing expansion in your social networks. So this could be as simple as like, you know, like one of your friends becomes a mother, or like one of your friends becomes a father, or like your friends get married, or like married, or like your friends go to school. You know, it could just be that like people around you are receiving opportunities and going for them, and it could be that you are benefiting off of that in some way, you know, and having like some kind of connection. So this is definitely like a really good year where networking is very important, and it could be something that is very fortuitous with you, so keep an eye out for that. Because Jupiter does, I just like the 11th house, so I feel like a lot of you could be joining a group of sorts of like people who like you agree with, or people that you just like you have the same vision. You know, it literally makes me think of like joining like a fellowship. I just think of that, and honestly I've been talking a lot about like religious themes because that's what Jupiter makes me think of, but I more so mean it as like a metaphor for like getting together with a group of people who believe in the same things as you do. And it doesn't literally have to be that you're going out and joining a group of people. This could be as simple as like you join like a Reddit thread, or like, you know, like you join like a little club on Facebook or Instagram, you know, and you're just kind of like around people who share the same visions as you and the same perspectives as you. So there's just going to be a more emotional inclination towards tribe and being around like-minded people in some way, shape, or form. And Cancer is very like intuitive and sensitive, so I feel like your intuition could be very much heightened in this area of your life, because it kind of seems like with Jupiter ruling your 4th house and then going into the 11th house, like maybe you're trying to like settle down in some way when it comes to your social circles and your goals and your visions, what you want to accomplish. This could literally be like maybe you're trying to expand upon friendships and relationships. You know, like I almost wonder if some Virgo risings, like you have a friend and then you get more romantic with them, and then, you know, like you get into a romantic relationship with a friend, or like get married to a friend for some of you, or like I said, it could be like in the beginning, like how I said that like a friend could be getting married or something like that. But for others of you, this could be the deepening of a friendship, feeling more comfortable. And because Jupiter rules the past, I almost wonder if some Virgo risings will come into contact with something or somebody from the past. And it's kind of funny because the 11th house is more futuristic. It's about what's ahead of us and like what we imagine. So the fact that the 4th house ruler is in the 11th house, like maybe some of you are getting back to a dream or a vision that you had a really long time ago, and maybe you just like gave up on it or just like let it go for some reason. So I almost wonder if Jupiter moving through this house is like you being like, man, like I remember when I was a little kid I wanted to really be an engineer, so like I'm gonna like look up classes. You know, like when I was a little kid I really wanted to be a floral designer, so I'm gonna go take some classes, you know, just like dabble into it. And it doesn't necessarily have to lead to something. It's more so about that fulfillment, and once again being around people who have the same vision as you. This is a really good transit to do things like that, you know, like going to classes, attending things. You know, Jupiter supports things like that, and just being around people who share the same vision as you. Like I cannot stress that enough, Virgo. But I also just kind of feel like I want to say that this doesn't, for some of you, it could literally be that you just make some really good friends too. And it could be like low-key like a fated encounter. But maybe some of you are also expanding upon existing friendships. Maybe they live far away from you. You know, Jupiter is distance and travel. So maybe some of you are traveling to see a friend, or maybe some of you are seeing more and garnering opportunities through traveling, seeing more and being in like an educational environment. Because Jupiter makes me think of like colleges, it makes me think of like courts and stuff. So maybe some of you are getting your foot in the door in something like that, where you are able to expand upon something, especially because Jupiter in the 10th house for you has been very sporadic and very like career, but then at the same time it just kind of might seem like a little bit all over the place, where it's like you keep a job and then like go of it, and then like you get a job and then you get fired from it. So there's a lot of inconsistency with your career. So I feel like Jupiter moving through your 11th house, it makes me feel like you guys are being a little bit more sensitive to that, where you're kind of like, no, like I want something that I know will last. I want something that I can count on, and I want something that is tangible and real. You know what I'm saying? And this could be really a metaphor for anything. I just kind of feel like your 4th house ruler being in the 11th house, a lot of you are thinking towards the future. So maybe some of you are thinking towards the future when it comes to your living situation, you know, the future of your family, the people that you're around, your blood relatives, and maybe some of you are receiving opportunities through them. Or it could also just be that a lot of you are trying to expand upon this sector of your life. And then with Jupiter ruling your 7th house, maybe some of you are trying to look to traditions and beliefs and ideals that have run in the family bloodline in some way, shape, or form. But because Jupiter is in the 7th house, I also feel like or Jupiter rules your 7th house, I also feel like this could be like important connections of people. Like, I don't know, like that's just what it makes me think of. Like, it just makes me think of like significant encounterings and learning from other people. I also almost wonder if you are learning something from like an online thing, because the 11th house can be about like social media as well. So it almost makes me wonder if some of you are like getting a mentorship or an education or expanding upon your ideas and beliefs through working with groups of people. And you know, like groups being more than like two to three people with you. So it could just be like you and two other people that are working together and collaborating. And it doesn't seem like it could be a specific thing, but I would imagine that it's like you are working towards the same goal. When you're watching this in June, there might be a little bit of a stressor with it though, because Jupiter is in a square with Saturn. So Saturn in the 8th house restricts intimacy, expression. It limits psychology. It likes to hold you back at a very deep level. So especially because in Aries, it's like, no, I want to be myself. But then maybe with Jupiter in Cancer, there's like a desire to conform to others, nurture others, and to be what they need you to be, or doing what you feel like others need from you. But then Saturn in the 8th, you know, Saturn rules your 5th house. It's like about your ego, you know, like, no, like I want to bust out. I want to be my own person. I want to do what I feel is right. And I want to express myself, do more and do things because I like it, not because it's what will give me what I want, not because it's what others want from me. So especially combined with Neptune, it seems like maybe there's like an entanglement of like, you know, losing yourself or blurring when it comes to your personal relationships, especially romantic ones, if you are, you know, if that's applicable. And it doesn't even have to be that you're in a romantic relationships. It could be that a lot of you are confused about the state of your romantic relationships, you know, like whether it be you're single or not. You're kind of like, will I ever be in a marriage? Like, do I ever want to get married? What do I want in a husband? What do I want in a wife? Like, what do I think for myself? What do I feel like is important? And how can I make progress in this area of my life? And maybe some of you feel restricted because there is a fear or some kind of limitation when it comes to being yourself at a more deeper, more honest and visceral even level. So kind of just feel like it's very important, Virgo, for you to be yourself throughout this entire process, because otherwise you might get kind of caught up in being cookie cut into something that you are not, or censoring yourself in some way, shape, or form to get what you want. But at the end, when you do achieve what you're looking for, you might kind of just feel like you cheated yourself out of something because you don't even feel like you're being authentic to yourself. And therefore, whatever you may be working with and what you've attracted, maybe you feel like it's kind of just like you're having to keep up a facade, or you're having to kind of like do something that you don't necessarily want to keep doing in order to keep it in your life. And I just kind of feel like Saturn in Aries, like that's a whole other video and a whole other topic, but I just feel like generally speaking, in a square of Jupiter, it's challenging your beliefs when it comes to your social circles, especially if you feel like you're in like a dead-end group of friends, or if you feel like you're around people who hold you back or limit you, or if you feel like the people around you are being restrictive, or if you feel like the people around you are doing more with their lives and you're kind of like, man, like, I don't know, like I want more for myself, and I see everyone around me doing what I want to do, but I'm not doing anything about it. You know, it's like you see you have two best friends and you're in a little circle, and then like one of them gets married and like has a kid and moves on with their life. The other one like lands like an amazing career opportunity and like moves away as well. And then you're kind of like, dang, y'all, like I don't know, like I'm just kind of like living with my family. Like, do I want to keep doing this? Do I want to move out? And do I want to like choose myself and do more for myself? You know, it's just kind of like you might kind of just feel like there is something more that you're wanting to do. And you have free will, but I have to say this is a pretty good transit for you to step out of your comfort zone and do something that you want to do, Virgo. Anyways, so before I let you go, I'm going to shuffle some tarot cards. This deck is mean, y'all. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm not saying I don't like it, but it's mean. It is not playing today. Okay, let's see what card comes out for you. I like this one. We have the Hermit. What an appropriate card, because this card is ruled by Virgo. So it could be that a lot of you are, like setting out by yourself, you know, doing something that you want to do. So maybe for some of y'all, this is like, man, like I'm always around like friends and always around other people. And maybe you even, some of you feel like you can't be alone. And maybe this is you being like, no, like I want to set out by myself and do something that I want to do, something that makes me happy. And I kind of feel like Saturn in the 8th can make you feel very lonely. For some of you, this could also be the vibe of like, I'm in a room full of people, but I still feel isolated. I still feel alone. So maybe Jupiter and Cancer in the 11th house is allowing you to connect more with your community, with the people that you are around, to form a deeper, more meaningful connection, to sort of erode this hermit energy that you have within you. But overall, it kind of seems like a lot of you are setting out by yourself to do some kind of internal work in order to help something when it comes to your community and the people around you in some way, shape, or form. The Hermit is a very reflective and a very introspective card. So I definitely feel like that's what the Jupiter transit will feel for you. And I feel like a lot of you could just start thinking for yourself a lot more than you usually do it. And it'll probably be like very comfortable and very liberating for you. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Virgo. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what y'all are hoping for with Jupiter in Cancer. I'm hoping for that money. Those perfumes ain't gonna buy themselves. Anyways, I hope you like this. Bye. I love you. Okay, now we have Libra rising. So hi, Libra. So I feel like Jupiter in the 10th house for you, because that's where Jupiter about to go. It's about to go through a 10th house. I feel like this is a very exposed house, you know, like we all know, like the 10th house is the most visible house in the chart. So I feel like Libras will have like a very outward growth this year in some way, shape, or form. And Jupiter rules your 3rd house. So I feel like this could be something about like maybe some of you are becoming a teacher or something, or maybe some of you are learning, and you know, Jupiter rules your 6th house too. So this could definitely be like job opportunities. So if you are like a teacher, especially if you work with like elementary people, this could definitely be you. But for others of you, with the 3rd and 6th house ruler being in the 10th house, I feel like a lot of you could be reaching like a position of authority in some way, shape, or form. People will value the things that you say. People will notice what you are talking about, and it will be a lot more just be like out there, you know what I'm saying? Like you go out and you're talking about like salt lamps, and you're like, salt lamps are very good. Like there's gonna be people like listening, you know, like people are going to be listening to you throughout this transit. And I also feel like the 10th house just makes me think of goals and what we're trying to accomplish in life. And some might even say that it's your life purpose, or, you know, like the thing that you dedicate yourself to. So it kind of just seems like whatever is going on here, there's something about your goals and what you want to accomplish with like knowledge. So it could be that a lot of you are dedicating yourself to some kind of a routine or a ritual. And I feel like especially because Saturn rammed through your 6th house, I feel a lot of Libra risings have tried to live with a bit more intention. I forgot which other sign I told this to, but it kind of seems like now this is something where you will be making more obvious and broadcasting, or people will be finding out about it, or you will be trying to put all this energy into action and putting some kind of momentum into it, because Jupiter in Gemini and Saturn in Pisces was like a very aimless energy. So with the squares between like your 6th and your 9th house, you might have been very much questioning when it came to knowledge and what you know, and like what you're trying to do with all this knowledge and expanding upon it. And, you know, it's kind of just like, oh, like I know that this does this for my body, and that I've been doing this every day, but I don't, and I'm doing it with intention, but I don't really know what it's trying to like do for me. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is it just kind of seems like a lot of you are putting forth, like, it makes me think of like, so now you know that cucumbers are a fruit. So you know that now, like you learned that, but now it's about actually putting that information to use, you know? Like, oh, like I'm going to teach a class about how cucumbers are a fruit, or, you know, oh, like I'm going to make a website about it, you know? And it's just kind of like a lot of you have learned a lot of information over the past few years, especially when it comes to how things interact with your body, especially in like the past few months when I'm uploading this because of that Venus retrograde. So it definitely seems like there's something coming forth when it comes to your goals and your ambition based on the knowledge that you have garnered over these past few months when Jupiter was in Gemini, like the past year. And I will say, I feel like you, Libra, have the most uncomfortable transit with Jupiter forming a T-square with Saturn across like the top half of your chart. And Saturn rules your 4th house, so this is like all hands on deck kind of moment for you. I feel like a lot of Libra risings are getting really serious about their goals. You know, Cancer is about home, it's about family, it's about like your nest, your deeper psychological foundation. And with the squares to Saturn, I've noticed that a lot of Libra risings have gone through breakups, or they've gone through like major endings, or like, you know, some kind of like a letting go when it comes to relationships. But here's the thing, as you let go of a relationship, especially if you've been in it for a really long time, you're also seemingly letting go of part of yourself. And I feel like Jupiter in Cancer in the 10th house is allowing you to come up with your own brand, you know, doing things for yourself and being more yourself and not always being attached to another person, not always being attached to something that you identify with. So obviously this doesn't apply to all Libra risings. It's not all y'all were married or like in a relationship for a really long time. So for some of you, this could just be like, maybe there's something that you were deeply emotionally rooted to or connected to, and maybe it has been interfering with intimacy or your routines or your health or your ability to deal with the day-to-day life, and you are letting it go and you are releasing it. Especially because Saturn ruling the 4th house and the 7th house, like I feel like this could definitely be like getting very serious about like your home. So I almost wonder if a lot of you could be like buying a home under this transit. I feel like a lot of people will be doing that, but for you specifically, I feel like it's more of like coming to terms with like your name in some way, shape, or form. Like I almost wonder if this is like changing your name. So, you know, like some of you could be getting married under this transit. So maybe some of y'all are like going through like a last name change, like your last name's like Smith and now it's like something else because like, you know, you're getting married. So I always see like the 10th house as like your title. So like my name is Justin, you know, so it's like that's like how it's out there, you know, like that's what's out in the world. And then you're like, no, I go by this now. Like I almost wonder if y'all about to be out here and be like, no, my name is not Kathy. My name is Mrs. Kathy. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of y'all could be going through something like that, where it's like a very minuscule change seemingly to the world around you, but like behind it, there is a lot of stuff that is changing with that, you know? And it's like a very simplistic label, you know? It's like, oh, I'm not Margaret. I'm Dr. I want to say Najib because I was watching the Scooby-Doo episode last night, and that's just like what I thought of at first. So like it could be that for y'all, but you know, this could also be your career and your work. Honestly, Libra, obviously like the 10th house is about career, so a lot of you could be getting more serious about your career. And I almost wonder if with Saturn in the 7th house, some of you are dealing with like things of like business partnerships, where you live. I especially think that because Pluto is going through, I was gonna say your 9th house, your 5th house, something about like your self-expression and like your ego and like your performance is changing over the next decade. So I definitely feel like Jupiter in Cancer for you, because it's squaring your ascendant, like you're gonna feel this pretty deeply, or it's gonna be like you're gonna notice like big changes of it. And Cancer in the 10th house, Cancer in the 10th house doesn't like to do things without purpose, you know, like Libra, like it might be like if you've been working at like a dead-end job, or if you've been working a job that you don't feel like resonates with you, this could be that you are getting into a career that you feel more emotionally connected to and one that feels more fulfilling, you know. Cancer, and I say this for Libra risings too, I always say like when I'm writing a birth chart reading, like y'all do not want to work a job that you feel like is not getting you anywhere, where there's no progress. Cancer, as well as you, are a cardinal sign, so you like to see movement, you like to see things get a move on, especially with that Capricorn over the 4th house. And then, you know, like Jupiter's going to be opposing it, so it's kind of like challenging you, you know, it's urging you to move forward, and it's urging you to do more. And with Saturn in the 7th house, maybe you feel like very like restricted by the people around you in some way, shape, or form, where it's like, oh, like I really want to get this job opportunity, but it requires me to like move across the country, but like my family needs me, but it's like I want this job. So a lot of you could be dealing with that over this transit. And like it's squaring your ascendant, so there's gonna be friction, there's gonna be times where like growth might be a little bit uncomfortable. So I would imagine that that's what a lot of Libra risings are go through, where it's like you have a chance to expand and create an opportunity for yourself, but it might be that like a relationship or something about like a legal matter is like holding you back, and you're kind of like, oh, I need to like get past this and I want to do more for myself. Also, if you're dealing with anything with your family or anything with like your home or house life, because Jupiter is in the 10th house, like it's pretty like obvious for people to see. So it might be kind of like a spectacle, and you kind of want to like keep an eye out for this, like especially if you're like around gossipers, or if you yourself like to like tell secrets and gossip, like I would be wary of this. Jupiter isn't particularly a gossipy planet, of course, by no means, but all I'm saying that is that it's in the highest part of your chart, so your reputation will very much be visible this year, and people will notice you. And it will be for what you know, the practices that you have. And maybe it's that some of you are assuming some kind of a work or something. It doesn't even have to be like your career. It could be like a side hustle where you are healing others, helping others, or maybe you are seeking people out that can help you with that. Jupiter also moving through the 10th house, it could just be like you're receiving opportunities and luck from authority figures. So I forgot who I told this to, but it could be like, oh, like your boss like asks you to go to lunch, or maybe you get like special treatment for your boss and your boss like helps you out or something. So some of you could be dealing with that, or maybe some of you are expanding upon your work opportunities. So it's like maybe you're just like a manager, but then you're getting promoted to supervisor. So Jupiter can definitely bring something like that. Jupiter brings more, and Jupiter rules your 6th house and your 3rd house. So this could be like more responsibilities, more information, more knowledge, more classes, you know? So a lot of you could be dealing with something like that where it's like you get more career opportunities, but with it comes more work and more labor, more responsibility. So keep an eye out for that. Anyways, I'm going to pull you a card before I kind of send you off. So let's see what comes out for you. Oh, a card just flew out. We have the Ace of Cups. This has been the most positive card out of every single sign. This deck is really, I love this deck. It's just like sometimes a little rude, you know, like it's not here to play games. So I just want you to know, like, this is like a big deal. Anyways, Ace of Cups is about new beginnings, new emotional beginnings. It's an offering of sorts. So maybe some of you are getting an emotional offering within a 10th house theme. So with an authority figure, with a job, a career. But this could also be like, it doesn't even have to be more like you see more increase in like material things, which if you want that, there's opportunities for that probably to manifest it. But I see this more as like, man, like I don't even care that I get paid less at this job. Like they just treat me so much better. The schedule is so nice and the people are so nice, and I feel like I'm actually making a difference, you know? You realize that the value and the importance and what you're trying to accomplish lies within something else, or it could just be that you are receiving some kind of good luck or some kind of new emotional beginning. And this doesn't have to be very literal where you see like a new beginning. It could just be that you feel something new and it inspires you to move forward in a way that's just more like, you know, like a little more pep in your step, you know? You'll be taking more inspired action. That's the best way to put it. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Libra. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this. Let me know what you're trying to manifest or see Jupiter bring into your life. I'm trying to see that money. I want those perfumes. But anyways, I will catch you later. Okay, now we have a Scorpio rising. So hi, Scorpio. If you're seeing this, I feel like Jupiter in Cancer for you, you have one of the better transits. Not saying that there's like a bad transit, but I just feel like because Jupiter is going to fellow water sign, the energy will be a lot more harmonious and it will be a lot more peaceful, easy flowing. However, because it is a trine, it might kind of just feel like sometimes you can't really actively do anything with the energy or like make things speed up or make things happen. Trine is like a more lazy energy sometimes. So it might just be that like, it's a good thing and you're seeing good things flow in, but it might come in after like, you know, like a certain period of time where it might kind of just feel like there's nothing that you can specifically do to truly reap the benefits of like what Jupiter is doing. And not saying that there is not going to be any benefits, but it's just kind of like, there's no cause and effect here. It's just, it happens and then you're just like, oh, hi, which I guess is like cause and effect. But I mean, like, you can't do anything like to make things happen sometimes. And it might just be like sometimes the energy just like is very free flowing and very beneficial. But anyways, before I like make that even more convoluted than it needs to be, Jupiter is moving through your 9th house, and this is a really, really sweet spot for Jupiter to go to because Jupiter is familiar with the 9th house and Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, so that's a real nice energy. And Jupiter rules your 2nd house of values and also your money. So if you're wanting to make more money, this is one of those years where you want to dedicate yourself to new paths, so learning new things, taking classes. So this could be where your money is going towards, or it could be that doing these things will bring you more money. It's a two-way street. So it could be that the knowledge that you possess, people are wanting it, and the more that you learn and the more that you invest in yourself through knowledge and spirituality, the more people seek your energy out and are willing to give you resources and gifts for it. But for others of you, it could be that you are using your resources to gain knowledge. So this could be some of y'all like buying books. This could be you taking classes, going to college, getting a mentor or getting a teacher or someone who knows more than you about something so that you can learn from them. Jupiter also has ties with your 5th house of creativity. So I feel like a lot of you could be very inspired or have a lot of fun by traveling. So this could definitely be a very good year if you're trying to book a flight or if you're trying to be somewhere that you have never been before. It could bring you a lot of inspiration, but also just allow you to have a really good time. Like that's the best way that I see it. And I kind of feel like the ninth house is very like optimistic and belief oriented. Like, for example, I noticed that when planets go through my ninth house, it like gets me praying, or it gets me doing things that like believing in something bigger. So it could be very much that for you all, and it doesn't have to be like a religion or something, which it could very well be that for some of you, but for others of you it could just be like a concept or an idea, like a law, you know, like law of attraction, law of assumption. Some of y'all could be dabbling into philosophy as a means to attract and bring in new opportunities. You know, Jupiter is about expansion and learning through travel and through experiences. So a lot of you could just be kind of like dabbling into that. There's kind of like a sweet and sour energy to it because Jupiter will be squaring Saturn in your 6th house. So like I low-key see this as like, especially like in June, because this is when the energy will reach an all-time high. So I think that this June is easily the worst, if not one of the worst, if not the worst times for Jupiter in Cancer. Like we're just not going to see the goodness come out of it at all until we start, you know, like moving towards the end of June. But with that square to Cancer, square to Saturn, I see this as like, oh, I really want to go to Cancun, but I can't because my leg's broken and I'm still healing from it. And I just need to wait a little bit before I travel. It could also be that spirituality brings you a lot of healing, or maybe like, it makes me think of like, you know, like when people fall ill or people become like not well. So it could be like something like that. And then it like, you know, it causes you to believe more. So it could be that through hardship in your day-to-day routine, it pushes you to be a little bit more spiritual. It pushes you to believe that there is something more and to think that there is a bigger concept at hand here. And obviously I don't want to say that in a way that like, oh, you know, like something bad's gonna happen and something good will happen, you know? It's just like, if you are already going through something difficult, it could be that dedicating yourself to knowledge or something bigger than you are will be what liberates you and brings in healing and opportunity. Because Jupiter also rules, or Jupiter's in Cancer, it makes me think of like home and property, and the 9th house is about foreign land. A lot of you could be moving. So, or it could be that you are investing property in foreign land. So maybe this is y'all buying land in like Iowa and you live in like Colorado. This could be you buying land in Europe or something. Or maybe this could even be something on a smaller scale, like souvenirs. Or maybe some of you are getting like a little like trinket from like foreign land, and it could be like a meaning for you. Like, for example, I went to Mexico and I bought like this bracelet, and it's supposed to bring you protection and healing and good vibes. So it could be something like that, where you're getting some sort of like a talisman, or maybe you're getting some kind of like little thing that brings you belief and optimism in your life. Whether that be like literally just buying like a necklace with a cross on it, or for others of you buying something that just, you know, brings you a lot more hope and optimism. Whether that be like something as goofy as like a labubu or something else, you know, it's just like, the point is that like the 2nd house is a very material thing. So Jupiter energy tends to manifest very materially in your chart. So it could be that you are dabbling into something in like the material world to enjoy yourself and to bring in belief and spirituality. So I almost wonder if this is like saging your house. I almost wonder if this is like buying like Palo Santo, or maybe this is like getting like candles with like crystals in it, or like buying literal crystals, or like buying things to improve comfort and, you know, like expansion in your home. Like maybe some of you literally just need a bigger house. Maybe some of you are moving into a bigger house, or maybe some of you are buying more land to have more space and to do things by yourself. Or it could be that you're going to places that have more space and allow you to express yourself at a more like limitless level, if you know what I mean. And because Jupiter also rules your 2nd house, I also feel like a lot of you could be trusting your faith and trusting yourself a little bit more. And when I say faith, I mean like, you know, having more faith in yourself, instead of being like, oh, will things work out in my favor, being like, no, like things will work out in my favor, I will make sure of it. So it's a lot of you taking more control over your life at a very like spiritual and like emotional level. I also feel like for some of you, because Jupiter in Cancer rules the past and like the childhood and also like the mother. Maybe some of you are traveling to your mom's homeland, or maybe some of you are traveling to a motherland of some sorts. Like, so if you're like from the Philippines and you live in the States your whole life, and then you're like, you know what, like I want to go back home, or like, you know, like it's like you move when you're like 3 years old and you're like, girl, I don't even remember that place, but I want to go back home, you know, like this is where my family's from, this is where my heritage is. So that's where I want to go, and I want to expand upon my values. And the second house can be quite traditional, so I almost wonder if some of you are dabbling into beliefs and practices from your original culture. But this is obviously for some of you who, if you don't, like, this is like if you haven't really been in tune with that sector of yourself. But for others of you, even if you are, this could be that you are wanting to incorporate that more into your life and more enjoyment. And it's funny because Jupiter rules your 5th house, so this could be about like extended family having kids, and maybe this is what's eliciting you like a trip. So like I see it as like, oh, like my mom lives in Germany, and or no, my mom's sister or like my mother-in-law or whatever like lives in Germany, and they're having a baby or like they're getting married, so I'm gonna go over there and visit them, and while I'm there I can also see, you know, like my German roots or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's something like that could be sort of happening. And for a select few of you, maybe some of you are dabbling into fun from other cultures. Like the 5th house literally makes me think of like things like board games, doing things for fun, like, I don't know, like puzzles. I don't know why, but like my brain goes like in Spanish they go like juguetes, so it could be like, you know, like little things and whatnot. So it could be that a lot of you are dabbling into stuff like that, maybe things that are like outside of like what you're familiar with, and like, you know, like little games and things to enjoy yourself. Like for example, like maybe you are learning about like a drinking game that they play in Korea. Maybe you are dabbling into like little fun sayings and phrases that they say in Mexico. Maybe some of y'all are learning like little board games and tricks that they do in like France or something, you know? So it's kind of like there will be a foreign flair in your life when it comes to having fun and feeling comfortable in your establishment, feeling comfortable in where you are, or it could just be that you literally are uprooting and going somewhere else. Anyway, Scorpio, let me shuffle the cards and see what comes out for you before I kind of let you go. See. Okay, let's see what comes out. Which one? This one. Did you see that? Oh yeah, who else got this? We have the 5 of Cups. I actually really like this energy for you, Scorpio, because I definitely feel like Jupiter in the 8th house is like sort of like a letdown. I feel like Jupiter in the Gemini for all of us was kind of a letdown. And because Pisces rammed through, or excuse me, Saturn, oh my gosh, I can't even talk. Saturn rammed through your 5th house. Saturn in the 5th house is a huge buzzkill. So maybe for a lot of you Scorpios, like you feel disappointed, or you feel very like bored or sad or like dissatisfied, or maybe you feel like fun doesn't have the same glitz and glam that it used to when you were a little kid, or when, you know, you've just always been this way where like you feel more jaded, and maybe you just feel like it's a chore to enjoy yourself, doing things that you want to and doing the things that bring that childlike wonder out of you. And, you know, in the traditional 5 of Cups, there's still 2 cups outright. So it could be that you're expanding upon those 2 cups and having more fun in some way, shape, or form. And I feel like Jupiter in the 9th house is bringing some kind of wonder, some kind of belief, you know, like there is a point to this, you know, and maybe you're being redirected. It's not always about having like pointless fun or doing things that don't really do anything for you, something that doesn't bring you progress. And although that's not necessarily a bad thing, it's not a bad thing to have fun, but it could be that you are wanting to be a little bit more intentional with the way that you enjoy yourself. And it could be that you're finding some kind of middle ground where you're able to enjoy yourself and have fun, but also accomplish your goals, instead of constantly having to find that boring AF balance that, you know, this world sells to you. So I think a lot of Scorpio risings will just start to see things from a completely new perspective that liberates you from the disappointing realities that you've probably faced in these past few years. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Scorpio. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this. Let me know what you're hoping Jupiter will manifest for you. I'm over that money on those perfumes. Anyways, see you soon. I love you. Okay, now we have Capricorn rising. So hi Capricorn, the sun's going down a little bit, so I feel like this is like the perfect mood for like Capricorns and Aquarius. So I don't know. Anyways, Capricorn, Jupiter is going through your 7th house, which is, I feel like, pretty literal. I feel like a lot of y'all are already kind of like, oh, he about to talk about marriage, he about to talk about relationships, and I definitely do see that. So a lot of y'all could be getting into relationships. A select few of you could get married under this transit, but especially because Jupiter represents the spouse in the birth chart, or like the husband. So if y'all want a husband, like this might be one of those transits where like something like that happens. But for others of you, this could also be belief and learning and teachings from other people. because that's what Jupiter deals with. And Jupiter rules your 12th house. So it might be that a lot of the things that you don't see are coming up through other people. So like your bad habits, your good habits, or your feelings about yourself, because Jupiter ruling your 12th house, the 12th house of struggles and privacy and difficulties, but also like true raw compassion. I feel like a lot of you could be receiving that from other people because Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So it could be especially your mother if that is something, you know, like relevant in your life. But for others of you, this could just be like other people wanting to take care of you, mother you. Or maybe this urge is coming out within you to take care of and nurture other people. So something like that could be kind of coming through. And Jupiter rules your 3rd house. I would imagine that a lot of you could also be teaching someone something, or a lot of you could be learning something from another person, because that's what the 3rd house is. Interesting enough, Jupiter could be like maybe you are learning a new language and maybe it's from like your mother's side. You know, it's going to be a lot about the mother because Jupiter, like Cancer, is the mother. So I feel like our relationship with women and motherhood is going to go through a huge increase over the course of this year. And I feel like you are no exception because your opposite sign is the mother. So it could be that your relationship with your own mom is increasing, like I said, but for others of you, it could also just be like something about your mother's like heritage, you know, like maybe she like speaks a different language and you have never learned it. And this is you being like, you know what, like I want to dabble into that. I want to dabble into her culture, what she knows, things of that nature. But for others of you, this could also be learning through another person. I also think that because Jupiter rules your 3rd house, it could be that there is an expansion of communication, but also maybe an expansion of people in your community, your immediate community. So maybe you'll notice a lot of people moving into the house that's been abandoned next to you. Like maybe they are renovating areas in your home. And especially with Saturn ramming through your 3rd house, it could just been like that there has been a lot of struggles of things going on in the household and your immediate neighborhood, and Jupiter ruling your 3rd house and then now moving into the 7th house. It could be that there's a lot of people moving into your neighborhood to bring it healing and to bring it progress and more comfort. So I wouldn't be surprised if over the next year, some Capricorn rising see an influx of beauty in their neighborhood. So maybe they're building more like mom and pop shops, or maybe, you know, like local businesses are being revived, or maybe they are improving the homes or like the quality. Maybe some of you are making moves in your neighborhood. So like maybe you're moving in with a spouse to like a house a few blocks away from your parents live or something like that. And because Saturn is in a square with Jupiter around right now, like literally right now when I'm uploading this and filming this. So because of that, you know, Saturn's your chart ruler. So I feel this Jupiter transit at first will feel very personal for you, especially because Saturn moved through your 3rd house, like I said. And because of that, I noticed that Saturn has caused a lot of ruckus within your family, especially if you have siblings. So if you have siblings, this will be even more relevant to you. But for generally speaking, there's just something going on within the household, responsibilities with the house, taking care of the house, buying a house, which, by the way, if you're wanting to do that, I feel like this could be some like an aspect that requires you to do so. So like maybe you're helping mom and dad, you know, like sign the lease and like apply for something about like a home, and maybe some of you are trying to move. Jupiter can be like foreign lands, and you know, because it rules your 12th house, it could be that a lot of you are moving to somewhere that you've never been before. So it could be like, man, I ain't never been to Cambodia, now we about to move over there, like what's going to happen to me, you know? So a lot of you could be dealing with something like that. And honestly, just I feel like with Saturn moving through your 4th house, like you probably will be moving, or you probably will be dealing with a lot of changes in the household where people are like moving in and out. So I definitely see that, because when Saturn just moved through my 4th house, and I moved around a lot, y'all. Like when I got this apartment under Saturn in the 4th house. So obviously some of you have probably lived through more Saturn 4th house transits than I have, but you know, the drill will definitely be the same, but this time it kind of just seems like it's more influenced by another person. So, you know, like expansion in the 7th house and the 12th house ruler expanding the 7th house, it could be like something that you're not accounting for. So like low key, I kind of see this as like you're moving in with your partner, and then you find out like you're pregnant, and then you're like, you know, like we moved into a 2-bedroom, y'all, like, or like we moved into a 1-bedroom. We gonna need like 1 or 2 more bedrooms to compensate for a child, you know? And obviously that's not to say that like you're gonna have like an unwarranted pregnancy this year. For some of y'all could. So if y'all are trying to like get down like that, like make sure you like wearing the gloves. But anyways, that's besides the point. I feel like Jupiter also moving through the 7th house. It could be there's something going on with belief through other people. This is kind of what I want to talk about in the beginning. A lot of you could have some very interesting encounters with other people because Jupiter rules your 12th house. So it could be like you have like a passing moment. Like I see this as like you walk by a stranger on the street in like your local neighborhood, and then they're like, oh, hi, you know, like I hope you're doing really well, you know, like, and then you have like a very pleasant conversation with them, you know, right? Like Jupiter ruling your 3rd house. And it is like strangely like liberating and like spiritual, and maybe you'll have like a lot of encounters with like saints or people who are affiliated with religion, churches, or just like other things like spirituality. Like I low-key be seeing myself as that. Like I low-key be seeing like myself as like that person. Like I meet someone and then I'm like, hi, like let me read your palm or something, and they're like, oh wow. So it could be like something like that where you have encounters of more people who relate to you, or people who, you know, like deal with whatever things that you are interested in. Because it also rules the 3rd house, and Cancer is the past. It could be that maybe some of you are having interactions with people from your childhood, or if you've already moved before, maybe this is you going back to your homeland or your local neighborhood, especially if you like live away from your family. So maybe some of you could move back in with your family, or maybe family could be moving in with you and you're like taking care of them or something like that. But generally speaking, because it's the 3rd house, I could see this as like, you know, like you pass by your old elementary school, or maybe like you go back to like your old town and you're like, oh my gosh, like I like remember this place, you know. So something like that could be happening. And this could be something that like brings you perspective, you know. And what I mean by that is, you know, it's been 15 years since you have been to your hometown, and then you come back and you're like, wow, it's been 15 years. Like this place hasn't changed. Like it's just a small town. Like that's so crazy. And I'm so different now, you know. It's like something like that could be happening. But this time it seems to be where another person is involved. So I almost wonder if for some of you, you're not even learning about your own perspective in your past, but more so you are becoming more intimate with someone who, you know, like something like that, and then like you see their past, you know, like maybe you're with your partner and they're like, oh my gosh, like I remember I used to come here when I was a little kid, and I used to like spend time with my mom and dad all the time, or like my brothers, and then you're like, oh wow, like that's so cool, you know, like I never would have thought like you, like, you know what I'm saying. It's just like a lot of you could be having like an intimate moment with a partner about their past and, you know, their upbringing. Especially because, you know, the ruler of the 12th house, like it makes me think of like soul merging. It makes me think of like connecting at like a deeper, more selfless level, and there will be endlessly more compassion in all relationships, and it will manifest through the words that you speak and the communication that you exhibit. Especially because Saturn moving through your 3rd house has probably restricted you a lot when it comes to communication, you know, talking more about how you feel, expressing how you feel, learning about how you feel, like therapy, psychiatrists, you know, like consultations, you know, like bookings of astrologers, with tarot readers, and anything with the occult, learning more about people. And because like I've noticed a lot of Capricorn placements like low-key dabbling into like dating apps too, maybe something about that could be relevant where you're like letting go of that, you know, like the 12th house ruling the 7th house, like maybe you're letting go of something in your relationships to expand upon something else. So it's maybe like, oh, like I've been with my partner for so long and I'm just like very unhappy with the relationship. I feel like I could be so much more. And then you like let go of them, and over the course of this year, like you learn more about yourself at like a deeper level because you're no longer shackled to a relationship. So it's just kind of like, it's for your own good. It's for you letting go of something that will cause expansion and growth in another sector of your life. And on one hand, I feel like this could be like a bittersweet moment, but on the other hand, I feel like it's more of like a bon voyage, you know, like you're moving away from your hometown. It's very sad, it's very like difficult, it's like, you know, but there's opportunity, you know, there's expansion, there's growth. And you know, Cancer likes to move forward, and it likes purpose, and it seems like you're doing this through your relationships, you know. It's like, no, like I want relationships, I want people where we can grow together, we can learn more together, and we can make progress instead of being stagnant, being stuck. Like my partner just wants to stay at home all day and like eat chips and do nothing. I want to go out there and see more in the world. So it's just kind of like, if you're in a situation like that, I would imagine that Jupiter in the 7th house is going to be like, okay, like let me go out of this and like go do something that is more, better for me, something that will benefit me and allow me to see myself in a better perspective. And it kind of just seems like, you see how like another person was involved, like the letting go of another person, the coming together with another person, but it all kind of comes back to your mind, your sense of being, and what you need to let go of within your spirit that is no longer serving you and holding you back. Especially if you're dealing with things like addiction, or just like struggles with like communication and expressing your feelings and being yourself in the way that you perceive and think about the world. Anyways, let's see what comes out for your tarot card. let's see what comes out for you. You see this one like jutting out? Like, let me take this one. We have the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is a very impulsive communicator. They are determined to prove themselves with their knowledge, with their words, and this could definitely be you. I feel like Jupiter and Gemini, like we saw a lot of that, you know, where people valued what they have to say and they were like preachy, and this could be a continuation of you. I forgot who I said this to. I think I said this to Tauruses. So it could be that you are learning more. Maybe you are something that you know, the knowledge that you possess is being beneficial to the people around you. So it could be that you are assuming a position of teaching others, you know, like the 12th house, like it makes me think of like compassion and letting go of yourself to assist others in their own journey. And maybe you're doing this rather impulsively. I feel like this transit for you could be having you talk a lot more, and like words will come out a lot more fluidly, and communication may flow a lot more easily, at least until like September when Saturn goes back into your 3rd house. But like even then, you know, I just feel like there's this energy of learning more and doing more, and other people, excuse me, by the way, other people seeking this within you. Okay, that's all I have for you, Capricorn. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this. Let me know what you think, and let me know what you're hoping Jupiter will bring into your life. I'm hoping it'll bring me some money so I can buy my perfumes. But anyways, I hope that you like this. Let me know. See you soon. Okay, now we have Aquarius rising. So hi, Aquarius. If you're seeing this, Jupiter is moving through your... My brain went empty. Give me a second. It's going through your 6th house, which is a really nice house. I had Jupiter go through my... Sorry, I'm like doubting whether or not it's actually like your 6th house. Please, like, stop. I know. It's your 6th house. It's your 6th house. I swear. Yes. Anyways, I had Jupiter go through my 6th house in 2023. And maybe y'all won't like it because y'all are like a little bit rebellious and y'all are kind of like, you know. But I feel like it's a really nice house for Jupiter to go through because... The 6th house is about the little efforts, it's about services, it's about the tiny things that you do, and you will see more reward and more merit for these things. So like, for example, like say you are walking and like, you know, like going on a caloric deficit, is that how you pronounce it? To lose weight, and maybe you like, you know, like are very peculiar about it, and maybe it's not like a lot, but then like Jupiter moving through the 6th house expands the rewards for those things. So like it might be that the 10-minute walk that you do everything starts doing a lot more for you than it usually would. So notice that your practices and your habits will expand, and this could be a good or a bad thing. So this could be like if you start eating a lot of junk food, like you'll gain weight even faster. And I know like, you know, like that's like it depends on what you're trying to do, but it's just like know that your efforts will give you a lot more, and this could be either a really good thing or a really bad thing. So that's like the first thing, and I feel like that's kind of like the skeleton of Jupiter in the 6th house. But for you, Jupiter rules your 11th house of friendships. It rules the social circles, which is a pretty nice house. Sorry, I'm like thinking right now. But it kind of just seems like with the 11th house, that maybe other people are kind of coming in to help you, maybe through community. A lot of you could be making friends or meeting some people in like a fated encounter kind of fashion within a work setting. Or maybe some of you are trying to offer a service to a community of people. So like, and it doesn't have to be like, it could be more like spiritual, it could be more like holistic. So like maybe some of y'all are delving into things like Reiki, you know, teaching, you know, being a mentor, and maybe you're trying to offer that to a group of people. Or maybe some of you are learning about your health and your routines and how to expand upon this area of your life through a community. So like on one hand, this could be like, you know, like, oh, I'm going to join a Pilates group. But on the other hand, it could be like, oh, like, let me join this Reddit thread about what people did in order to clear up their skin, you know, let me join this Facebook group and see how they like, it could really be anything, but I just feel like health is like the name of the game with the 6th house. But it could be like, oh, let me join this Facebook group because I'm trying to find a job, or because I want to see what groups of people might like know about like finding a job, or like climbing your way up the corporate ladder, or like finding opportunity, or what these people did when they had their spiritual awakening. You know, it could really be anything like that. But I guess the gist of it is that you are seeking community, and you are seeking out people who are like-minded and have the same vision as you, because you're trying to benefit something in your life and to maximize potential in some way, shape, or form. Or it could be that other people are seeking out what you know, So it could be that you've already done these things, you know, like Jupiter is the all-knower. So this could be like, oh, like I've done all this to accomplish this, you know, I've done all this to remodel my home. I've done all this to, you know, let go of my mommy issues or my daddy issues. And then people are like seeking out your wisdom and your knowledge. So, you know, the 11th house is like opportunities, in the 11th house ruler in the 6th house, it could be opportunities through services and what you're able to provide for other people. And as an Aquarius rising, Jupiter also has ties with your 2nd house of money, of your resources. So it could be that you're making more money. And I wouldn't be surprised if like you offer a service already. This could be you charging more, or this could be you, you know, like making in more money, or this could be like clients wanting to, like they could come in waves. Like people could come in like waves where it's like, you know, instead of like getting like 1 or like even 2 clients, you get like 3 or 4 at a time, you know, and they come as like a friend group and they're like, hey, like, can you do all of us, you know? And then you're like, oh yeah, sure, you know, like, and then maybe like this continuously happens, and then like you're having to like increase your rates. But this could also be that there is value and self-worth that is going to be arising from doing 6th house things. So it doesn't even have to be like what I just talked about. This could also be something about, you know, like the foods that you eat. This could be about investing in yourself, you know? So maybe you're trying to learn something more. Maybe you're trying to network and develop more meaningful connections. And I think you as an Aquarius rising, you're very accustomed to this energy when it comes to like, you know, networking and meeting people. And it could very much be that like you are seeking connections that will benefit you and increase your self-worth. And it could also be that you are trying to develop a dream and a vision, and maybe committing yourself to an idea or like a social cause or like a vision. It's like bringing you self-worth, you know, it's like, you know, like I feel good about myself because I am joining this group where people are saving like animals that have been stranded on the side of the road, you know? So it's like you're dedicating yourself to some kind of cause, and you are allowing yourself to grow, and you're allowing yourself to trust yourself more. Like, yeah, like I am a good person. I do like myself. I do believe myself to be a decent human being, or I do believe myself to be this or that. And it is seemingly coming through to the service and the causes that you are dedicating yourself towards. I will say that Jupiter in the 6th house can kind of be top heavy too. So it's important to find balance with your routines and your health. So it's like, make sure that you're not like overdoing it sometimes, or make sure that you're not trying to like do like things with like your routines and stuff, you know, like I'm going to go to Pilates at 12 p.m. and then I'm going to go for a run at 1 p.m. I'm going to go get food at 2 p.m. and then I'm going to do this at 3 p.m. and this at 4 p.m. You know, like there's a tendency to want to do more and see more and like overpack your schedule, and to be a little bit overzealous or overly optimistic when it comes to how much you can fit in one day. And you really don't want to do that because it will exhaust you, especially next year when Jupiter moves out of this house, and then you have like all these responsibilities and obligations, and you're just kind of like, ooh, like that's a lot. Like I might have to like let go some of it. So just try to be like responsible about it and increase upon the habits that you already do have. And obviously that's not to say like, oh, like don't have fun, don't do what you want to do it, but just know that there are drawbacks and there are consequences, and you just want to be mindful of that so that you don't actually commit yourself to something that like you can't really get out of. But Jupiter in the 6th house, maybe some of you are also getting like an animal or a pet, or maybe some of you are investing money into a pet. So this could very much be a transit where you do something like that. But a part of me wants to joke that you're going to get a toddler, but like that's literally not how it works. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like taking care of something, a responsibility. Like this could literally be anything else. Like maybe you're getting houseplants, maybe you're house sitting, maybe you're offering a service where you like babysit, maybe you're doing something for another group of people, or maybe some of you are trying to teach something. I want to say that Jupiter will come into a square with Saturn. So like right when you're seeing this, like in June, Jupiter is in a square with Saturn in your 3rd house. Saturn is your traditional ruler, but Saturn also rules your 12th house. So what do you need to let go of when it comes to the way that you think, the way that your communication works, the way that your mind works, and the way that it's wired? And what do you need to let go of in your schedule, your obligations, and how you have your day-to-day lined up in order to make way for the things that you want to do that you feel are more important to you? Because Cancer over the 6th house with Jupiter, it's like, what do I believe in? You know, like I want to do something that makes me feel good, something that, you know, connects with me, you know? So it's like, man, like eating overnight oats every morning, like I don't feel like that emotional connection. Like it doesn't make me feel some sort of way. It doesn't feel like I'm doing anything. So it could be that there is a connection to wanting progress, and there could be like an impatient energy to this where it's like you start doing something and then you're like, I want to see the results immediately. So it's important to be patient with this energy, because Cancer is a more slow moving energy. It likes to lay out things before it takes out before it takes its next step. So it is one of those signs that does not like to take risks, and very much a lot of you could be in that, especially when it comes to like your social circles, the people that you're around, or with your money. So it could be that a lot of you are embodying this energy of like, okay, like let me take this my time, let me not be overly patient or like impatient with it. So it's like, just because you started like your teeth whitening strips like yesterday doesn't mean that your teeth are going to be pearly whites today. You know, it's going to be consistency, but you will see a gradual like exponential growth and like reward for what you're trying to do. Like it kind of keeps going back to that. But because the 11th house ruler is in the 6th house, it could also be that you're receiving opportunities through coworkers or people that you work with or do services with. So it could be like gatherings, groups of people, like maybe some of y'all are going to like work parties, or maybe some of you are getting invited to things from people that you work with. So it could be like, oh, you work with this lady named Susan, and then she's like, girl, like my friend is going to this epic party, and there's gonna be like a lot of rich and famous people there, like do you want to go with me, you know? So it could be like through a coworker or through some kind of like very unassuming thing that you do that another person pulls up to you, and you're like, oh my gosh, wow. It's like maybe you're like dog walking, and then like you run into someone and they're like, oh my gosh, hi, like I really love like your clothes, like do you want to like do modeling or something like that, you know? So a lot of random things like that could kind of come up through other people or like service opportunities. It's like, oh hey, like do you want to like do pedicure, like I saw like your pedicure experience, you want to do that for like this really cool person, and then like that cool person ends up being like a lifelong friend for you, you know? Or it's maybe like, oh, like you do nails or like you do hair, and then you're kind of like, oh, you know, like this is something I can do, and then someone notices it, and then someone's like, hey, like, you know, like do you want me to help you with like opening up a business or something like that? Or hey, like can I like consult you for something like that, even though it's maybe something that you do on like a side hustle, and then they like becomes like a full-blown thing, you know? So a lot of you could be running into like very simple things or like very small things that end up becoming something very big. And I feel like that's like a pretty like general way to look at Jupiter in general, where it's like there's sudden expansion, but for you it kind of seems like it's something about what you know or what you're able to do. And it could be that other people or even you are seeking out knowledge. So it's like other people could be looking out for what you can do and what you're capable of, or you're looking out for somebody else that is capable of something, you know? So it's like something like that, you know? And then opportunities and monies could come out of that because Jupiter rules your 2nd house as well. Anyways, let's pull a card and see what comes out for you. What card would we choose for you? Something right here, this one. Ooh, yeah, we have the 3 of Pentacles. So yeah, networking opportunities, groups of people who support you and you support them, working together with others. In the reverse, this can suggest competition, but upright, it makes me think of like, so like maybe you've been in this vibe of like people competing with you, people trying to do better than you, trying to one up you, and maybe this transit is about you finding people who support you, who want to uplift you, and who want to expand upon your image for you. Very fortuitous transit for you, Aquarius. I definitely see good things for you. Excuse me, and honestly for all of us. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Aquarius. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this. Let me know how it resonated. Let me know what you're hoping for with Jupiter and Cancer. I'm hoping for that money so I can buy my perfumes. But I hope you like this. Let me know. That's all I have to say before I start rambling. Bye. Love you.